out there in the inner tubes, welcome back to The Lost. This is your host, Razor. With me is Shadaloo. And once again, our special guest, Ishi Rose. Today we will be resuming. This is part 2 of our character retrospective on Raiden, the God of Thunder. Say hi, everybody.
Hi, everybody! You walked right the fuck into that one, man. What's going on, folks? What have you been asking for?
Just was listening to the Fat of the Land album by The Prodigy like a few days ago.
Fucking classic.
Yes. Diesel power.
Oh my god, that's some funky shit.
Good times. Good times. I myself just finished Final Fantasy 15. I have thoughts, but this is neither the time nor the place.
Very good.
Maybe Temp and I will do a review of that at some point, because I know he loves Final Fantasy too, but...
I once loved Final Fantasy. I might be willing to sit in and drink to that episode, because I once loved Final Fantasy. I could give you a detailed 12-hour soliloquy on how much I once loved Final Fantasy. I have this Final Fantasy because people keep saying it'll bring the love back. I remain skeptical.
Well, you know. Speaking of reasons to drink...
Yep. Here we are.
When last we left off, we had gotten to the point at the beginning of Deception where Raiden blows himself up trying to kill the Dragon King.
Indeed.
Yet another in a long line of blunders and failed attempts at heroism. But,
and really bad ideas for fatalities.
Yeah, we did talk about that too. How, the in-game engine chose to represent his sacrifice in the form of he shoots someone, and then the beam shoots back at him. What?
Reverse lightning's not worth what it used to be.
Maybe he legitimately fucked up that one. Maybe he didn't intend for it to happen. He was like, oh, fuck it.
Well, I mean...
You know, because he does jerk back, like, a split second before the lightning channels back to him.
We're gonna get into this in this episode, but it is established elsewhere in continuity that Raiden doesn't really know how to use his fucking powers. So... But,
Oh, God.
Yeah, but first let's talk about, so, what happens after he explodes. So, everybody thought he was dead, and then they unlocked him as a secret character. Except, he came back a little bit wrong. So, yeah, now he's wearing black and maroon, and his eyes glow red, and he's all like, so, while I was dead, I found out how bad Shujinko fucked up, and now I want to kill that guy.
No one fucks up in this universe but me.
Yeah, right? You're not allowed to do it. This is my job.
Now that I'm complete and whole once more, I will follow our new protagonists and try to kill him.
Yeah. So,
yeah, suddenly,
first impressions on Dark Raiden. What do you think?
My initial... Okay, well, I'll let you go first. No. I'm Canadian. I apologize.
My first thoughts on Dark Raiden. Well, the first time I played Deception, Dark Raiden was not unlocked, so I didn't really get a chance to, see him. And on the official MK Deception website, granted that website is gone now, I mean, much to my dismay, I missed that old site. But anyways, yeah. When I went on the character menu for, the MK Deception website, the Raiden they displayed was Light Raiden, like Deadly Alliance Raiden. They didn't display Dark Raiden. I think they were trying to, play up the whole, dark aspect of him, like a secret.
Yeah, so, they were basically hiding the spoilers.
Yeah. So when I saw Raiden for the first time, I legitimately didn't want to believe it. I was like, this isn't Raiden, is it? And I mean, he had the cape, the hat, all the other characteristics, of the Thunder God. So I was like, and the announcer literally said his name, Raiden. I was like, what the fuck happened to him? So yeah, after a bit of reading, eventually came to learn that after he killed himself, by his blast in the MK Deception intro, how what's it called? His energy sort of like reformed, but like Quan Chi and Shang Tsung's soul sort of rubbed off on him, so that sort of corrupted him.
Yeah, that was revealed in Shang Tsung's Armageddon bio.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and so I kind of, it grew on to me. I really liked the idea of, Dark Raiden, and I was, really wondering whether or not he was good or evil. I remember going around asking several people, because even my cousins, because they owned Deception on PS2, so they, had more access to it than I did, and oftentimes I would ask them, like, is Raiden really good or evil? But, I mean, Dark Raiden really holds a special place in my heart, specifically because it was something really new to me and, got me by surprise. And to this day, I loved, the evolution of the character. I think he's... The Dark Raiden is probably, like a really good way to evolve a character, and it's really nice to see him sort of take on that, take matters into his own hands and just be like, you know what, I'm fucking sick and tired of all this shit, thrown in our way. Maybe I should take things a little, more seriously. And so, yeah, but my only problem with Dark Raiden is how his lightning is still blue. Like, I've always stood by the fact that, his eyes are red. Why not just go all the fucking way? Give him
that
red
would look
lightning.
a lot better. Yeah.
Yeah, I always agreed with that too. Like, the one thing, like, his alternate costume in MK9, when he teleports, it's red, but all the rest of his moves are blue. I always thought, like, that was so sort of half-assed. Like, I was disappointed because I wanted more red.
Yeah.
Red energy is cool.
Yeah.
When is it never cool?
I mean, it literally said his energies reformed, and they were corrupted. So why not? Like, it makes sense canonically. Like, you could fit that in. But I mean, it's not. I mean, yeah, it's not that hard just to like swap the lightning color to red. I don't know why they don't do it.
I just feel like if you're gonna have his eyes glow red, why not have the rest of him match? Like, there's even like a close-up portrait where there's like crackling lightning energy around his eyes, and it's red.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
it's like the stuff that comes out of his hand should match his fucking eyes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I don't know. It's as simple as that to me. But
yeah. But yeah, he's awesome. Love it.
Yeah.
Sorry, I took too long.
That's cool. Now, when I first saw Dark Raiden, I was really leery about it. I was pretty taken aback because this is the same game, mind you, where Cabal had taken that like really uncharacteristic, nasty heel turn for no apparent good reason, and I'm like, is this going to be a thing going forward? We can just start like turning like good guys bad, and oh my god, Liu Kang's a ravenous zombie now. So I was a bit concerned, but I was willing to go along with it, and I was cool with it. I'm still cool with it once it's like, if provided it's actually done well. Like, since then, it's a thing we've come back to time and again, every so often. It's an aspect of his character that we've explored because it is there. He can only be pushed so far, but there's always something that's responsible for it. And I guess I don't mind it, but I don't want it to become overused. This first time, I was cool with it up to a point, which I guess we're going to get to shortly. It's not the fact that I object to Dark Raiden in and of itself. It's what he does when he becomes Dark Raiden that kind of strikes me as nonsensical. And this is, to me, kind of one of the points of the slow decay of MK's original storyline once we hit Armageddon.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to get to that.
Yeah. I can kind of see where you're coming from there.
Yeah. Maybe we should go into this now. So we go into Armageddon for a bit here. We go into Raiden's bio.
Yeah, the thing about like Dark Raiden is most of the information we learn about why he turned dark didn't come till Armageddon. probably a lot of that having to do with the fact that he was supposed to be like a last-minute surprise as a secret character in Deception.
It was Shinnok who did it to him, right? Or something? I'm forgetting.
Well, so what happened... What they say in Deception is just that after he killed himself... So, he didn't really kill himself. Like, when a god releases the energy within them, that energy is what they're made of. So, over time, it'll just recollect, and they'll, like, come back together. Like, we talked about this last episode, his true form is, like, just lightning, and he chooses to appear as a mortal in order to hang out and interact with the mortals. So, it's like he blew up his mortal body and released all his energy, and it took time for the energy to come back together, and then he took a mortal form again. And while he was dispersed, he was sort of still aware of what was going on. You know, he was, like, watching shit happen in the realms. He saw, like... He basically figured out Shujinko had fucked up and brought back the Dragon King, and he was, like, basically salty about how, like, time and again, mortals are sort of the cause of all the problems in the realms. And then you get to his ending, where he's like, my patience with these mortals is worn thin. And he's like, even though Shujinko fixed the problem, I don't care. I'm gonna, like, kill him anyway. As, like, it'll, like, serve as example. Those who place Earthrealm in harm's way must pay with their lives. And then, like, they don't come right out and say in Deception that, like, he's the one who brought Liu Kang back as a zombie. But then they do in Armageddon.
Yes.
Like, they hint at it in Deception. Like, in Liu Kang's ending, Raiden is sort of standing in the background of the picture as, like, this mysterious figure who merges Ghost Liu and Zombie Liu back into Living Liu. Although that scene's not canon, but Raiden was in it, so it's basically, like, hinting that this was all his thing. And then, like, so you get to Armageddon, and
his bio basically says that centuries ago I defeated an ancient sect of necromancers, the Huan, and their members were scattered to the winds, and their temple was there, and I put Liu Kang's corpse on a ceremonial altar, and I bound it with shackles, and I recited unholy enchantments, and I brought to life the body of my former ally, and fused it with a blast of lightning, and it would be my ultimate enforcer. Satisfied, I then set free this abomination to wreak havoc on those who have done harm to Earthrealm.
Yeah.
And then Liu Kang's corpse basically spends the rest of its time apparently slaughtering Shaolin monks.
Yeah, because those were just the nearest things, and it was a wild fucking zombie.
Very poorly constructed plan there, Raiden.
Can we pause for a second, though? Could you repeat that word that you said?
Which one? Earthrealm?
It starts with an N. It's what Quan Chi is.
Necromancers.
Yeah, that. So, since you gave me so much shit about saying neither realm all the time...
Oh, fine, necromancers.
That's better. That's much better.
I'm like, did I say the... Oh my god, did I say the N-word? The N-word? Oh god!
No.
What's Razor about to call me out on?
We were over that the last episode.
Shad, the word was naggers. Naggers, Shad, my god. I'm not even drunk yet, folks.
I think we covered all of our underlying racial issues last episode. But no, I just had to razz you for that one because of...
Very well.
We've all got something.
It's true. I've never liked the way the word necromancy sounds.
Necromancer.
Necromancy. Necromancy. It's a funny word.
It is a funny word.
But funny word.
But back to Raiden.
Anyway.
So yeah, like, so that's sort of my thing about Dark Raiden is, like, when he was first introduced in Deception, they were playing it real, like, vague about, is he evil or is he just an anti-hero? Like, is he just, like, a well-intentioned extremist? And then, like, you get to Armageddon, and it's, no, he's actually unleashing a killer zombie for no reason, and he kind of wants to blow up every realm that isn't Earth. And there was a while there where he kind of made a truce with Shao Kahn to shut down Taven.
Shinnok appeared before me and proposed an alliance. He would help secure the protection of Earthrealm in return for my aid in some undisclosed plot. I am no fool. I know well the treachery of this former Elder God. I accepted his offer and will complete this task, but only to discover his true objective. And then, until then, I will use Shinnok to serve my own ends.
Yeah, he goes from 0 to Legion of Doom real fucking quick, is what I'm saying.
And I guess that's kind of my problem with it, I guess. I like the concept. The turn is believable, and I can buy a Dark Raiden up to the point where, like, you know, even including I will destroy all other realms for the sake of protecting Earth. It's just that he's just got no fucking plan or coherency, or it just sort of happens, and he becomes very Machiavellian evil very quickly.
Yeah, like, so I kind of get the whole, like, resurrecting Liu Kang because he's the only fighter who's worth a damn on your team thing. But I don't get the whole, I'm just gonna let him go, and if he kills a bunch of innocent monks, who cares?
Remember, those who have wreaked havoc, those who have done harm to Earthrealm.
Yes, because we all know monks are the most violent people on the planet.
Yeah, those guys were just guarding Liu's, like, gravesite, man.
But to be fair, in the Armageddon intro, which depending on who you talk to is some kind of canon, you do see him eventually attacking Shang Tsung. So maybe Raiden had a moment where he went, "Oh shit, that's been happening while I've been away, hasn't it?" Went, no, bad zombie Liu, this way. You come with. Where's the stick? Starts hitting him with his cane. Back to Edenia. Back. So yeah, not the most well thought out of plans there, Dark Raiden.
Yeah. I mean, in terms of first impressions, that was what always struck me. The whole isn't he evil or anti-hero thing, and them sort of not very gracefully addressing the matter. The other thing that always struck me is that his alternate costume looks like fucking Akuma.
It's those beads.
Yeah, he has the beads. I mean, it's like Samurai Akuma, but still.
Well, there have been worse alternate costumes. I like the fact that the hat's on his back and the hair is fully visible. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, it repeats those themes from his Deadly Alliance alt, which are kind of cool.
And also, nice little sword accoutrement there.
Yeah.
It's like he just got pissed off, took off his shirt, and went, "I am the supreme master of the fist."
I forgot how pale he was.
There's a history in Mortal Kombat of characters just wearing a katana for no reason.
Oh yes,
goes all the way back to Shang and MK1.
Ceremony.
So the interesting thing I think about Dark Raiden is we kind of covered all there is to say about him in Armageddon. Like, in story mode, you only see him, like, hanging out with, like I said, the fucking Legion of Doom. He's like, yo, I'm on Shang Tsung and Shao Kahn and Shinnok's side, like, all these guys who I've hated for the entire series. I'm with them now, because they promised they'll leave Earth alone when they conquer the realms, and I totally believe that shit.
But I am no fool. I'll just find out what they're doing.
Yeah, right?
That's what it is. He's just like, yes, I'm waiting to find out what they're doing. They're going to tell me any minute now.
They literally explained it when Taven was spying on them, and Raiden didn't hear a single bit of that.
Yeah,
there's like some sort of big prize waiting in the crater.
Kind of seems like he was in the room.
You know, whenever we have discussions about Mortal Kombat and Armageddon shows up, there's a reason that I rely on Razor to fill in the blanks for me. It's because, along with their willingness or ability, poor John Vogel's ability to efficiently tell a coherent story in Armageddon, there went with that my capacity to pay attention. Like, I mentioned the slow decay of MK's original storyline before, and Armageddon is really it.
I mean,
there's just so many bits and pieces that are loosely connected, but really poorly, and I just can't be asked.
Well, it all started with deception.
I'm trying. You know, I have that chronology that I've been working on for like 5 years now, that I touch up and add a few paragraphs to once every couple of months. But oh god, it's a trying process.
I mean, it did start with Deception Conquest. Like, if Deception was just the bios and endings, it would be just as solid as most of the other games. But there are so many fucking plot holes in trying to figure out what Shujinko did that counts and doesn't count, and when he did it.
I analyze it, and it's pretty important to me to just keep for the most part, barring like one or two minor side thingies, like the key points, the major conversations that happen.
I mean, we've talked about it before, but like even if you follow just the main missions that are like important to the plot, there's still a giant hole of like during Deadly Alliance, Hotaru puts him in prison, and he's in there so long he ages.
That's one of the huge ones. Yeah, definitely.
And when he gets out, it's Deception, but Deadly Alliance and Deception literally happen back to back.
This is why I tend to just disregard that and say he was in prison for like a week or something, or whatever.
Yeah.
It was just a way of artificially aging him to suit the plot.
Yeah.
Clumsily.
And characters also, for instance, like Nightwolf, like, when he meets him, it's about 10 years before the MK tournament, I'd wager, because I've been keeping track of the...
Well, I mean, that part's not so bad. Like, the idea that maybe Shujinko and Nightwolf and Kenshi were all planning to go to the tournament together, but because Shujinko didn't get to go, the others somehow got held behind too.
But it's like a matter of how old are they actually then?
Well, I mean, Nightwolf's age is nebulous. Like, he could very well have been around when the Pilgrims, like, took over America.
Yeah, but that's like, isn't that like the alternate timeline?
I mean, that's
character bio.
That's like MK9 said that, but like the original MK3 bio was just, this guy's a historian. He's really into his tribe's past.
No reason you can't have both.
But still, like, so like Kenshi's origin story does happen like before the first tournament, so there's no reason he can't like be meeting Shujinko right before, like, because they don't say that it's a lot before the tournament, like, they're all getting ready to go to the tournament.
Well, that sort of age transition before, because Shujinko meets Kenshi around his, like, 30s. And then by the end of it, he's, like, around his 50s or late 40s.
Well, he meets Nightwolf first. He meets Nightwolf first, and then there's a cutscene of him aging. And then after that, he meets Kenshi, I'm pretty sure.
For me, it was like, he emerges from the portal of the gods, then heads down south, then in that little area, that little roofed area, Kenshi is like sort of sparring, or like sparring with the air or something, and then like he meets Kenshi, and then after that, he sort of goes around searching, and then that's when the sort of objective marker leads you to Nightwolf. Then after the training with Nightwolf, yeah.
I might have to replay it. It's been a few years since I've played Conquest, but yeah. Anyway, I
watched it front to back actually for purposes of the chronology sometime really early this year, and yeah, that was by far the most painful part of trying to get all this stuff in order. But it's not so bad when you're just watching the cutscenes.
Yeah.
That's all you really need to do.
But in terms of, like... So, Raiden's story, actually... What's interesting to me is there's a point in Deception Conquest, like, the first time Shujinko meets Raiden. Raiden is, like, guarding the portal to the Nexus. And he's like... He doesn't believe Shujinko's really the champion of the Elder Gods. And he's like, if you were really the champion of the Elder Gods, you'd have the powers of 10 men or something like that. You'd be able to beat me in a fight. And, of course, Shujinko does it because he's been running around stealing powers and shit. But, like, Raiden doesn't know who the champion of the Elder Gods is?
Yeah.
Maybe the Elder Gods forgot to tell him?
Like, I kind of
Well, you know, like... the Elder Gods kind of have that thing where they keep everything to themselves and, they're kind of snooty like that.
Like, if he's like literally there to guard the portal, he should be informed on who is and isn't allowed to use it.
Well, actually...
His name's not on the list. He doesn't get to know.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. There should be a list, and the name on it should read Monster. Remember that guy? That's the real champion.
Let's be fair, man. No one knows who the fuck that guy is. No one.
I mean, it's true. We don't know who the fuck that guy is. I'm betting his real name isn't, in fact, Monster.
Vogel, there's a character that looks like a monster. What do we name him? Monster.
I mean, sure, why not?
Clap.
What else are you going to call him? Skullman? Not Scorpion?
Skull
See,
Knight.
maybe they kind of realized that if you give it a name, you give it power. It'd be just like fucking Belloc. 16 years later, people would still be asking and wishing and praying for it to show up in future games.
Okay, so you joke, but I totally want Monster in a future game.
Yeah,
Oh,
I agree. I actually want this character to be evolved.
It's just an alt
adapted
costume for Scorpion that was scrapped.
But there's potential in it.
You know what? It has storyline significance, and that's all that matters to me.
See?
He's
Don't
the
even have
real
to give it a
champion
name.
of the Elder Gods. That's an important role.
Fair enough, I guess.
I mean, you can call him something else.
I wouldn't mind. I suppose I wouldn't mind, but I mean, I'm not particularly too attached to that particular design.
Medieval Skeletor.
I want to know why the Elder Gods keep picking skeleton men to be their champions. Like, why is it always got to be the undead?
I want to know why we're 2 decades into the MK series, and we've never actually had the chance to play as either any of Shang Tsung's palace guards, or B, another fucking Shadow Priest. Fucking game's lousy with them, and they're never playable.
It would be, I mean, it's weird that, even in MK9 you had these NPC guys like the fucking stuntman and the director, but Shang's guards, not in there. Cutscene only. It's a shame. But yeah, so, you were saying that, for you, Armageddon is where it falls apart, but, for me, it falls apart with Shaolin Monks. And that game, is...
Oh, see...
That game is so bad that it's not even canon. It's not canon specifically because it's bad. They intended to be canon, and then after the fact had to go, never mind.
Don't bring Shaolin Monks into this. I'm not even counting Shaolin Monks in terms of shit falling apart. Shaolin Monks fell apart at minute 2.
I mean, you can choose not to count it, but it's the game that came out right before Armageddon. I'm saying there was a pattern. You could see things getting worse.
I guess.
And I actually feel like Armageddon's story mode is more coherent. I can follow that shit.
No question. No question. At the very least, Armageddon has some form of actual plot. And some kind of structure.
Shaolin Monks has problems, first of all, besides the awful dialogue, which is the most famous thing. The dialogue in Shaolin Monks is MK4 ending tier. But...
Are you okay?
Are you okay?
No, I'm pretty sure he's not okay, Liu Kang. He's been stabbed in the head and thrown across the room, and his soul is leaving his body.
Also, he was set on fire. Don't forget that.
Oh, God.
He was stabbed through the skull and set on fire, and they watched his soul leave. But no, are you okay?
We need that scene on repeat in a YouTube video for 10 minutes.
But...
You know what's really funny about Shaolin Monks, Raiden? Is the fact that in the cutscenes, you can see the unforgiving evil glare in his eyes, and yet the fucking main characters can't even take a hint.
Every 5 seconds, the game reminds us, this is Shang in disguise, by the way. You totally can't tell, right? But
you can hear the fucking Scooby-Doo laughter. It's awful.
It takes them all the way till the final cutscene. The boss battle is when they learn that the whole game, it's been Shang in disguise.
God.
But no, Shaolin Monks' problem, other than the awful dialogue, is that, the plot doesn't make sense from one scene to the next. And MK9 has that problem at some points, but I feel like Armageddon, at least from beginning to end, I can follow why people are doing shit. Even if it's stupid shit, I can follow why it's happening.
I suppose to some extent I can agree with you on that. I just kind of wish I knew why specific people were around, because they just really don't cover everybody. You just kind of have to. For some guys, you just kind of have to fill in the blanks from the rare times you see them in conquest mode. Otherwise, I have no logical reason to be present.
Is the part that bothers me the most about Armageddon is the whole game takes place in Edenia, but Sindel and Kitana never show up and are like two of the only characters who didn't get bios. How does that make sense?
There are quite a number of. I think it was like half of them that didn't get bios. There was a number of them.
I mean, there's a lot, but most of the characters who didn't get bios are like Suhao, Hotaru, Darius. Fuck them. Like, the important ones that didn't get bios...
And even Suhao had kind of a bio in that you could look at his eyes in the Versus pose and go, oh, they're red. I guess he's dead now.
I mean, that could be it. That could be cybernetics. I don't really care.
I don't...
Like,
I've always interpreted that as he's actually a thrall to Shinnok or something.
Yeah, well, they say explicitly in several of the bios that all the bad guys were let out of hell, because the whole thing is Shinnok's idea.
I guess that pretty much just covers Suhao, doesn't it?
Yeah,
he's dead.
That covers anybody on the bad guy side who didn't get a bio. And everybody on the good guy side was not dead, so we're fine. It's just that, like, if you're gonna put the game in Edenia, give Kitana something to fucking do. It's her house!
Alright, so do we want to talk about Shaolin Monks anymore, or... I think that covers Shaolin Monks?
I think we covered the important thing of Shaolin Monks, which is how stupid it is that they don't fucking tell. Like, they can't guess. It's fucking Shang.
And it's still one of the most fun games in the series.
Every time one of them turns their back, he's fucking grinning evilly and going, mwahaha. He's like they're 5 feet apart from each other, and he's whispering in Kung Lao's ear, I think Liu Kang is going bad. And then he walks over to Liu, I think Kung Lao is going bad. They're like, they're in the same, like, they're not that far from each other. How did he not hear this?
Never forget, this is the game that managed to retell the story of MK2, where the only character who died was Melina, and it proceeded to murder everybody.
Except Melina.
Yeah.
She's the only bad guy who doesn't die in Shaolin Monks.
That explicitly cracks me up to this day.
Does anyone, like, remember that very last cutscene of Shaolin Monks, where Raiden does this weird scream before he sort of turns Shao Kahn into stone?
Oh, that rings a bell. Let's see if I can find that.
He's like, ain't nothing but a car. Ain't nothing but a car.
Shaolin Monks ending.
Yeah, he's saying magic words because lightning doesn't turn people to stone, so it has to be a spell. But fucking, it's Mortal Kombat, so they're always saying weird shit. Now I'm gonna throw you over there.
I'll get you the ticket you tell me what the party is.
Oh, my leg.
Okay, wait, here it is.
Says that as their neck gets snapped.
Yeah, right.
Oh, yes. Think I'm in a car! Think I'm in a car!
and literally he yells Sagat. He yells Sagat, I shit you not.
You know what?
Sagat!
You know what? Even
I had a big supper?
Even Raiden knows that we need more Tiger. You always need more Tiger.
I love how they just both dive kicked into the body.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So we were talking about fucking Armageddon. And I mean, Raiden's ending is, I feel like, you know, the Armageddon endings, there's a thing where people sort of tend to cite them as, like, the ultimate, like, what a character should end up as, like, especially with fucking Noob Saibot, people keep talking about, like, how it's some sort of proof that Bihan should ever become Sub-Zero again, like, there's still good in him or something, because in his Armageddon ending, he was split into good Sub-Zero and bad Noob Saibot, and
They just say he's a completely new being or some shit.
And
anyone who's actually citing those things as the penultimate example of what a character should be like needs to remember that those things refer to Planet Smoke. So shut up.
See, that's my point. Is it's desperation. Those endings are like 99% the worst thing ever written in the history of this franchise. Like they just completely ran out of fucking ideas. Fucking Kintaro's he's like
magic swords.
He gets 4 magic swords. He's like, he kills Scorpion, Sub-Zero, Havoc, and Hotaru, so he can have swords powered by Order, Chaos, Fire, and Ice. Like, what the fuck is that?
All of these endings are diner napkin 5-minute quality. They were very poorly considered.
Mocap turned into a constellation and was studied by Edenian astronomers. It's pretty cool.
Like,
I say that with sarcasm, by the way.
Yeah, like Smokes was his nanobots go out of control and consume the entire realm of Edenia and become Planet Smoke.
The only one from what I remember that's worth any damn whatsoever is male chameleons. Because it just specifies, yeah, he's always been around.
Yeah,
okay, sure, I'll take it. He exists, so he's canon in some form. Thank you for confirming that.
It's basically what the like Ermac and classic Sub-Zero's Ultimate MK3 endings said before they were rewritten to have an actual story.
But at the time being, it's all we've got. So you know what?
He's been in hiding since the first tournament. The end.
A lot of people fucking hiding out since the first tournament.
Yeah, like how many people in Shang's Island are just hiding behind pillars, not fighting in the tournament?
Are you imagining like making Jawa noises too, or is it just me? Watiti! If I had a nickel for every goddamn hidden assassin hiding behind a fucking pillar to be used as a weapon of last resort. Holy shit.
And it's funny that like Shao Kahn had all of these hidden assassins and still fucking lost. Like none of them actually went into battle. He's like, hey boss, I'm pretty sure this Liu Kang guy's beating Shang up right now. Should we stop him? No, it'll be fine. Shang's gonna pull this one out. He's gonna come back in the last round, you'll see. I got so much money riding on this, Shang better not.
Oh god.
So what's next for us to cover?
Well, I mean, Armageddon does lead naturally into
Okay, are you sure we can't talk about MKDC at all, like his design or anything?
Yeah, I was gonna talk about
what is there to say about MK versus DC other than the rage?
Did we like his design?
It was weird that he didn't have sleeves.
Yeah, thank you. I was just about to mention that. I liked the design from everything except the fact that he has no sleeves.
It's especially weird because, Raiden has always been sort of unique on the MK roster as a character who does wear sleeves. And in MK vs. DC, they were doing this weird thing where they sort of tried to make the DC characters' costumes look more like Mortal Kombat characters. So you'd think they'd then sort of embrace the ones who do sort of look like superheroes. Like, Raiden is the only guy who dresses in full body gear like a superhero does. And then they go and take off his sleeves. It's just strange.
Nah, there's too much armpit going on there for my taste. It's not the best of outfits for him.
I mean, he does shave his pits, so at least he's considerate.
Manscaping. That's how it's done.
I mean, you were the one who asked, how does Raiden shave? He's getting in there with the lightning, just burning off all the hairs.
I still prefer to envision him like him charging his staff and just slowly rubbing it across his body or wherever else.
Oh god, ew! He gave that thing to Kai.
He did.
And
we
then
didn't even talk about that
later on for some reason. I wonder why that was.
Do we want to talk about the fact that it's apparently canon that he's like, hey Kai, you did a pretty good job doing nothing. Here's my stick. It'll make you immortal. And then a year later, he's like, I want my stick back.
Did we
Like,
we
that's
forgot to
literally
cover
how the
that last
story
time,
goes.
didn't
It
we?
actually happened.
I just realized you did nothing. Give me that back, you fucking dope.
We did not mention Kai last time. Well, now we have, and that's the story of Kai.
Yeah, pretty much.
Hi guys, I'm here too.
Poor Kai.
It's sad, because I like Kai.
I think everyone likes Kai, but no one likes Kai enough.
Well, nobody likes Kai. I don't like Kai. I like what Kai could be.
No one likes Jarek. Kai has 5 fans. Let's be fair.
I like the idea that Mortal Kombat could have an Eddie Gordo, and that would have been Kai.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, man. I was hoping for MKX Kai. I was hoping to live the dream again, but
Yeah.
sad.
It's a shame. Maybe one day.
I think that the outcry for Kai would have been greater if Fujin had been a thing.
The outcry for Kai? The outcry?
Outcry. The outcry for Kai. That's my MKX Kai.
Are you a Kai guy?
Sure, why not? I'm a Kai guy.
I'm on Team Kai.
I'm the guy for Kai.
I'm not your buddy, Kai.
I'm not your friend, Raiden. Not my buddy, Kai.
We've got more entertainment out of Kai in that past 2 minutes than anybody ever has.
That was a lot of Kai.
We're only doing this so we can forestall the inevitable here.
I mean, we
Yeah.
are.
You know what we're about to
I'm
I'm
time.
just about to pour another.
I think we have to talk about Mortal Kombat 9 now.
All right.
Oh,
Now,
please, can we not?
so
Well, no, So I want to start directly at the beginning, the first cutscene, because it is relevant to Dark Raiden.
Razor, before you do this, the people need to understand what I'm drinking and how much it matters to me, and how much it matters that I access this drink. The problems I'm having therein. For Christmas, my girlfriend's parents were very generous enough to provide me with a fine bottle of 2009 Teatino Rosso. It is a very fine table wine, which is suitable for meals such as seasoned dishes and red meat. It is a very lovely wine, and I'm very, very grateful to her folks for this. You can hear it sloshing around the bottle right now. It is also a cork top, and I have no corkscrew. I have no corkscrew with which to open this bottle of wine. I have 2 choices before. We can discuss MK9 Raiden with me sober. Or, the following thing that I have in my hand is a power drill.
Oh God.
I am going to power drill through the top of this cork and pry it open with a knife. Rather than discuss MK9 Raiden sober. Begin.
All right. I'm glad that you let us know that. I think it does set the tone.
Drill away.
No, start without me. I mean, I'll be right here. And I'm just like find
Just
a
gonna-
size drill.
Pour up real quick. All right.
All right. So here's where I want to start. So in the infamous cutscene where Raiden sends the message to his past self, he must win. The Raiden who is sending that message is explicitly Dark Raiden. Like, they brought back the costume, his eyes are glowing red. But here's my problem with the game, or at least with this scene. They never address the fact that Raiden received a message from an evil version of himself. And that the message, like, you'd think if it's evil Raiden that maybe he wants bad things to happen, that he deliberately chose a message that would get a bunch of mortals killed. But no, like, if they wanted us to think that, they'd have told us to think that. A story puts things into the story for the audience that it wants them to know. So the fact that they're not talking about the fact that Raiden was dark at the time means we're not supposed to think about it. And that bothers me.
Yeah, you have a point, because his eyes, like, we're meant to think that, like, as he's sending his message back, he's turning good again. Like, his eyes turn blue.
Well, yeah, like that entire scene, he's behaving like good Raiden. Like, he's fighting against Shao Kahn, and he's, like, asking the Elder Gods for help, and he's, like, trying to stop destruction and he's doing a good guy thing. So it's like, even though he's wearing the bad guy costume, he's acting like a good guy. And that's, like, because Dark Raiden, they were so fucking fuzzy about whether he was a villain or an anti-hero, that's acceptable, but at the same time, like, I feel like it should put the he must win message into question. Like, what were future Raidens, what were Armageddon-era Raidens' motivations when he sent the fucking message? Did he intend it to be vague? Did he intend it to get people killed? Did he intend his past self to fuck up as much as he did because he wanted bad things to happen and still kill Khan at the same time? Like was he like two birds with one stoning, trying to get all of the fucking mortals he didn't like out of the way, or what?
Those fucking Edenians, man.
And like I feel like if it was a better written story, it would have at least mentioned that. It would have addressed it in some way. But it feels like a lost opportunity. And it's just one more thing where, in a long line of things where I'm like, what the fuck was MK9 even doing?
Yeah, it really seemed like it was trying to be two things at once. Like, it was trying to be a reboot, but at the same time, it was trying to, like, be an Armageddon sequel.
Like, they had this whole thing in their head where they're, like, mentioning the Star Trek reboot. And the thing about the Star Trek reboot is Captain Kirk's past was changed when he was a little kid, so that by the time he was old enough to become captain of the Enterprise, all that stuff had happened different. Like, time had passed. So there were reasons for things to be different, because history had been changed like 20-some fucking years ago, before the actual plot of the movie starts. But MK9 doesn't fucking have that excuse. It's just like, we're gonna change stuff right now, and that somehow this will also affect when Melina was born. What?
Yeah, the wine won't come out.
Keep
You
working.
can do it.
No.
I believe in you.
I've already destroyed. It's not actual cork. It's like it's plastic cork, and it is a really, really nice bottle of wine. I don't want to leave it sitting there with a destroyed cork and pieces of plastic cork floating inside of it. This was not very well thought out. I was hoping the bit of leverage from a knife would be enough to get the cork to pop, but it's not. It's just destroying the cork. So, God help me, I have to do this sober.
I mean, do you have anything else to drink?
Water. And my own sadness and my own tears.
It'll be all right. We'll get through this together. You, me, Ishii, and my can of beer.
Wait, yes. Continue.
All right. So.
Okay.
I'll be right back in a jiff.
All right.
So Raiden sends the message to his past self, and even the moment the message arrives, it's already unrecognizable as MK1 because fucking Quan Chi is there, and Human Sector and Cyrax are there, and everybody's wearing different clothes.
Quan Chi's got that amulet.
Yeah, maybe that's a story for another time, but he's wearing the damn thing right in front of Raiden and Sub-Zero, and both of them, talk about mythologies as if it happened. They don't care. Why?
Oh, God. Shang Tsung is fucking... He cheated so many times during that part of the story, and Raiden did not even bat an eye.
Yeah, no, that's another thing that bothers me. So, in the movie, which, granted, is the movie, it's not the games, it doesn't really count, but it's so, influential and shit, it's basically, in a lot of ways, stuff they did in the movie is stuff that would have happened in the game, or should have happened in the game. And one of the things the movie really got right is the fact that Raiden's main reason for being at the tournament is basically to be all to call Shang when he's cheating. Like, his job as the protector of Earth is to make sure that the tournament is on the up and up. Like, that they're fucking playing fair. And yet, in MK9, like, he never even mentions, like, a time when Shang is like... He never even, like, wags his finger at Shang and is like, I'm watching you, don't do any funny business. And, like, Shang is... There's no bracket. Like, Johnny Cage, the game begins with Johnny fighting twice in a row. That's not how tournaments work. and then of course there's the scene after Sonya frees Jax from the dungeon, which, by the way, why wasn't Goro down there guarding the place? Like, doesn't he live there? It's his lair.
I mean, it is a big layer, so...
I don't know. His chair was right next to the cell.
Maybe he was, grabbing his laundry, I don't know.
That's funny to me because, like, Shiva's bio has been changed from Sindel's bodyguard to in charge of the jail cells. Like, she's the guard of when people are in the fucking dungeon. And the only dungeon stage in MK9 is Goro's lair. And she's not in it. Like, later in the game, every time there's a scene where somebody's supposed to be, like, kidnapped or tied up or under arrest by, like, Shao Kahn, they always have to, like, have them in another arena. And Shiva stands there and goes, if you hadn't tried to escape, we'd still be in the dungeon instead of in this stupid place. And it's like, that is a shit excuse, man.
Twice in a row.
Why did you even change Shiva's bio to prison guard if there's no prison?
You could have both. Like, say, she was Sindel's protector, at least until she killed herself, so Shao Kahn was like, here's something to do.
I don't know, that means Shiva is 10,000 years old, man. That is 8... Wait, how much? That is 5 times older than Goro is.
Well,
yeah, right? It doesn't...
Okay.
Oh, I'm okay with that.
I don't know, I mean... Granted, we don't know Shokan culture and stuff, but it's heavily implied that Shiva's one of Goro's wives, so...
I'm pretty sure she's supposed to be a cousin. Because...
I guess, I don't know.
Don't all primitive and barbaric cultures marry their cousins?
Like, I feel like...
Texans or something.
Fuck you.
I feel like if Shiva and Goro were fucking married, we'd have heard about it by now. They'd have been fucking upfront about it.
I spit my own fucking drink into my cup.
I've done my work.
But yeah, back to Raiden's long list of fuck-ups. The first thing that comes to mind that we haven't yet covered is he heals Jax with lightning, because apparently that heals stuff now.
He's a god, it's okay.
Fine, whatever. It's stupid. Like, I'm tired of them giving him extra powers that aren't related to electricity.
Well, okay, you know what? Here's something, now that we're on the topic, you mentioned about him having extra powers that don't make sense.
Yeah.
I feel like, when I remember last episode, I was like, okay, I'm going to hold this on until when we get to the reboot. So, my biggest issue with MK9 2011 is the fact that Raiden has this whole power centered around being able to send messages back to his younger self.
Yeah.
How
right
the
there.
fuck does that work? Because technically, if he has the ability to undo the past, doesn't that technically make him the most powerful being in the universe?
Yeah, like, I think we should talk about that, because that is, like, the very fucking cornerstone of the whole plot, is that Raiden suddenly has the power to send messages back in time, which he has never done before. And also, here's my favorite part. So, like, he needs that medallion to do it, and MK9 is all, like, trying to convince us that he's been wearing this medallion all the time on all his costumes, and they just never, like, showed it because the graphics weren't there yet or whatever. But then in MKX, he's not wearing the medallion, even in a flashback to MK2.
Yeah.
Oh, dear. I may have used a bit too much of this stuff. I have some Staroplanetsky absinthe, which is 70%. Probably shouldn't have emptied that whole thing into the glass.
You know what? Go for it. I mean,
Well, I've had one sip so far. I'm okay, but I know I'm just slightly concerned.
I didn't want to say anything before, but I was thinking wine might not be strong enough. I think absinthe might hit the mark.
I hear that? Empty. Well, I'm fucking screwed.
But yeah, just like, so the whole premise of MK9 revolves around preventing the stupid fucking metal from breaking. And at the end of the game, the metal is in one piece and no longer cracked. And then they make the very next game, and he doesn't wear the medal, he doesn't mention the medal, he doesn't, like, have the medal up on his mantle as a trophy. In a flashback, the medal doesn't exist? What was the point of the medal if you're just gonna pretend it wasn't there? I don't know, man. And, like, so, we don't go, like, in-depth into Mortal Kombat 9 very often on the podcast. So you don't really get to hear me get angry. But before we started doing the Netherkast, like years ago when I posted on Mortal Kombat Online, I was famous for how angry I was. It's gonna start to peak out tonight, I think.
Oh, go away. Go on. Let it all out.
So, I mean... So there's the medal, and then the other thing we were talking about before, the healing, the fact that he can teleport people in groups. Like he's the fucking team's... Like he's a Dragon Jet now, basically, from the fucking cartoon. Like, it's all too Deus Ex Machina, which is funny because that term literally refers to when a god interferes in the story. But it is, like, his powers are lightning. The reason he can teleport is because he can transform himself into lightning. But how does he transform Johnny Cage into lightning without killing him? How does he teleport other people?
You know, it's not that hard, as simple as opening a portal for them and just being like, okay, go through here.
Yeah, like, you never see him make a portal. Like, Quan Chi makes portals all the time. Shang Tsung makes portals. Other characters make... Like, even Noob Saibot makes portals. Raiden is never shown making a portal. He just turns people into fucking lightning. And they don't die.
It all started with MK versus DC. We should get that out of the way. Like, MK versus DC started that whole trend of him being able to teleport other people in a flash of lightning.
I also like how all of a sudden, ever since MK versus DC, the good guys carry around like a giant coin or magic communicator so they can talk to holograms of each other. Like they're fucking super friends.
Yeah.
They're all Captain Rex from Star Wars Episode 3.
It's so fucking
Commander
dumb.
Cody.
Commander Cody. You know, except I'm fine with Sonya having like some sort of like golden like talisman with the like the thunder seal on it. Like it's like I can imagine Raiden like one day coming up there and being like, "Hey, here's this," you know, like to keep in touch.
It's all right, I guess. I just feel like it's
not for everyone.
Like, if Sonya needed to communicate with somebody else and she, like, used her fucking Special Forces wristwatch, I would question it a lot less than the idea that the fucking Order of Light is now handing out, like, magic coins that project holograms.
Alright, according to this webpage, I'm not going to die of alcohol poisoning tonight. That's good. Alright, bottoms up.
I'm glad we got that out of the way. That's an important safety tip. Thanks, Egon.
I'll just keep diluting it as the night goes on.
All right.
I have to stick with water for now.
So yeah. But we should remember now that Raiden can heal people. Because he's not going to remember that he can heal people for the entire rest of MK9, no matter how bad they get beat up.
I might die of idiot poisoning.
Yeah, right? So the next dumb thing is, so Raiden is, like, talking to Liu Kang, and he's all like, remember your training, I believe that my messages from my future self are telling me you're the one who must win the tournament, because I already believed you were the one who must win, and confirmation bias, I guess? Which is fine, I guess. Like, he's still trying to figure out what the message is even for. But then he says, like, he wants to avoid changing time. And that's important because it's the only fucking time he remembers that he said that. Because,
Well,
like...
Did he outright say it, or was he just, like, warning them, like,
Well,
disrupting the flow of time
like,
can have consequences?
He warns, like, them that if we change time too much, there could be, like, bad butterfly effects. But then, immediately, the next time he gets a vision, he starts changing stuff. Like, willy-nilly, doesn't fucking care. Like, he gets a vision of, oh, Kung Lao's a mask guard. I'm gonna walk right up to that mask guard and go, yo, I know you're Kung Lao. Oh, Sub-Zero's gonna die and become Noob Saibot. I'm gonna walk right up to Scorpion and say, please don't kill Sub-Zero. Like, maybe some of these things should happen. He doesn't care. And the Scorpion one is my favorite, because he's like, if you let Sub-Zero live, the Elder Gods will bring back your clan. So he's making a promise that he can't keep, that requires the Elder Gods to get off their asses and do something.
You know, when I first saw that, I was actually hoping for it to happen, just because I wanted to see Scorpion's reaction when the Elder Gods brought back the Shrey Ryu as, like, undead.
Yeah, like, that's exactly what they did in Armageddon. They made that promise, and they brought them back, but they brought them back as zombies.
Yeah.
God, we could have an Elder Gods retrospective alone one night. We really could.
Like,
That's the single greatest example of them being actual vindictive pricks in the whole MK universe.
Here's the thing. I have a theory that there's a good reason to bring back the Shirai Ryu as zombies. And it's because, look, those motherfuckers' souls are where they belong. Like, you don't go fucking with somebody's afterlife, man. That's fucking with the natural order. Like, his wife and kid are probably, they were innocents. They're probably happy in heaven. Like, don't bring them back. They might not enjoy that. And like, how is it Raiden's place to be all like, yo, we'll bring an entire fucking village of people back from the dead if you do something for me? Like, that seems like cheating. That seems like breaking some rules of nature. And he's supposed to be a good guy god, so that bugs me. I don't know. Maybe that's just me. Maybe I'm overthinking it.
No, man. They brought this upon themselves when they decided to make MK into a cinematic story mode event. So you tear them a new one for all it's worth.
I mean, look, there's a way. Look, you can make that choice and still make something good. Like, if the cutscenes had been more like the plot of the movie or had followed the original canon more, you can still, like, the idea of cutscene, fight scene, cutscene, fight scene, cutscene, fight scene, that's not a bad way to make a game and tell a story. It's just that they wrote a really stupid story.
Like, do what Street Fighter V did. Have the player sort of jump from character to character. It doesn't need to be restricted to this stupid chapter system where you fight four characters in a row.
You know, I just played through 2 straight BlazBlue games. And it's absolutely astounding to me how they can do these little story mode visual novel style things and have everything kind of cross over absolutely perfectly between a cast of like 20. And everyone's got a reason to be there. No one feels left out or put off to the side. Everyone's got something to do. Everyone's got to move and groove.
Well, I mean, Deadly Alliance kind of did that. It didn't have, like, pictures, like BlazBlue, like... So all the way back to, like, Bloody Roar 2, I think, was the first time I ever saw a game that did that system, and that was, like, the fucking 90s.
The shit's feasible. It's tried, tested, and true method. I don't get why they can't do that.
I don't either. Like, that's since the fucking 90s. I've been waiting for that shit. And... I mean, I like the idea of how they do story modes, but again, they wrote a really shitty plot. Like...
That they did.
Like, I don't hate MKX the way I hate MK9, even though, you know, it's the same format, it's just a way better script.
God, how it bothers me that so many people seem to have problems with MKX's story as opposed to MK9's.
Well, you know what?
Yeah.
The reason people have problems with MKX is because the new characters. That's pretty much it. It's just that Cassie, Kungjin, Takeda, and Jackie, especially Jackie, are not nearly as charismatic as the original cast.
Give him some time.
If you took a story that well written and used the trilogy roster like MK9 did, that would be, like, the best to date.
You know, I don't know. I've heard some really shallow reasons too as to why. For me, I think it's just that they don't want to see anything new. Like, I've even read up complaints about people being like, "I don't see Johnny and Sonya as main characters."
I mean, I can kind of see where they're, like, I don't see Sonya as a main character, but I can totally see Johnny as a main character.
Oh, fuck that shit. Anyone in from the 7 original members of that goddamn cast is a main character, barring Kano.
I mean, you say that, but Sonya's really shitty.
Yeah, but she is a main character. She's not the main character, but I would argue that MK doesn't have a main character.
I mean,
it's a revolving cast of dipshits and lunatics.
I mean, depending on the game, I would say overall it is an ensemble piece. It's like saying the X-Men have a main character. No, they don't. Like, no matter how many movies are about Wolverine, the X-Men don't have a main character. It's like that, yeah. But there are some characters who could not support more than, like, a few scenes. Like, Sonya is not, like, brimming with depth. She's also not nearly strong enough to ever beat a boss. Like, I think that's the important thing. The main character is the guy who beats the boss.
It's funny, I think that she really could be if they just maybe let her get over Kano. Funny, no, this is the game where that actually happens, and, you know, game's about her daughter. Ah, well.
I don't know, her special moves, like, she's not, it's because she's a tech character and not a magic character. Like, I couldn't see Stryker beating a boss either. Like, Mortal Kombat is about Asian mysticism, so, like, I feel like you have to be a powerful, like, magic user to be the main hero. But we're digressing. Let's get back to dumb things Raiden did.
He must win.
Yeah. Like, so there's two problems with the he must win message. And, I mean, first of all, the obvious one that everyone points out, even people who liked the game, are like, that is vague as shit. Like,
if he'd said Shao Kahn must win, would he have believed himself?
Yeah, you see, that's the thing. I feel like if he was too specific, it would just complicate things even more.
Well, there's two problems if he had been too specific. Because if he said Shao Kahn must win, and then he sent it back to MK1, if Raiden did believe it, he'd let Shang win the tournament, and then nothing would happen except Outworld conquers Earth. Like, the message only makes sense for MK3. He sent it back too fucking early.
Oh, God.
Unless Dark Raiden deliberately planned for his past self to take 3 games to figure out the message.
He knew how dumb he was.
Yeah, like, he knew, okay, it's gonna take him this fucking long to figure out what he must win means, so I better send it back a little early.
You know, I've had this really funny, like, weird headcanon that he intended to send it back to his MK3 self, but the thing is, Khan smacking him in the head kind of made the message winky wonky and it went all the way back to his MK1 self.
I mean, he was pressed for time, so, honestly, fucking up a little bit is not out of the question. But still, if you have 3 words, I don't know that he should be one of them. I think you can do better than that.
I mean, Khan is 1 syllable, so...
Also, I don't know, like, if I was in a life or death situation where I had seconds to live, Shao Kahn is about to crush my head and take over the universe, and I had to figure out what do I say and where do I send it to get Shao Kahn dead. I think I send it to MK2, and I tell myself, after Liu beats him, fucking finish it. Because, like, that drove me nuts. So, like, Liu Kang puts his fist through the guy's chest. And yeah, a normal person would be dead. But they just cart that motherfucker off as everybody's standing there. If I hate somebody more than I've ever hated anybody in the world, I am not letting them take his dead body. I am going to fry his dead body until there's nothing left. Which, by the way, is how Scorpion dealt with Sub-Zero. That guy knows how to get the job done.
I'm just imagining Raiden in that fucking arena, and everyone's watching. He's like, "Hold on, guys, I'm just gonna 1 minute. Just let me fry this."
Like maybe that's just me. Maybe I'm more.
He was saving it up
Raiden,
though.
But
he was saving it up to accidentally fry Liu Kang later on.
Oh, stop. No, please don't. Oh, fuck, I'm getting PTSD flashbacks.
No, stop approaching me! Oh God, stop!
So many PTSD flashbacks to that fucking scene. Oh my.
I don't know. Maybe I'm just way more vicious than most people. But I feel like if I've just killed a guy, I'm gonna destroy the body. Because I live in a universe where people come back from the dead all the time.
Plot holes for the sake of convenience, and badly riddled with them.
You see, my biggest problem with MK9, aside from the whole Visions thing, is that Shao Kahn did not win Armageddon.
Yeah, there's that too.
How hard could it have been to just say, okay, after Taven defeated Blaze, all the combatants got more powerful, and they all fought until it was just Raiden and Shao Kahn.
So the fucking MK9 story mode starts with them, the camera is moving over the crater in the pyramid, and all the bodies are where they were lying at the end of the Armageddon opening. Except that in the Armageddon opening, Onaga flew off with Khan, into the goddamn horizon. Took him off the battlefield. How did he get
I guess
back?
we're supposed to just assume that Shao Kahn took care of business while they were out there, and maybe he just shoulder charged his way all the way back.
Yeah, he must have, because Shao Kahn doesn't have a teleport move. I want to see that. I want to see him doing shoulders and knees to get back to the pyramid.
Stupid bastard!
Every 5 shoulders he has to stop, point at nothing, and go, "You will die." You're still trying to win? This weak, pathetic desert.
As all the combatants are fighting, they hear the noises getting louder. They're like, oh, what's that?
What is that?
Off in the distance, feel the wrath of Shao Kahn.
Fucking MK.
It's official. You suck.
But yeah, I mean, the developers, they literally want us to believe that no, Shao Kahn won all the time.
They pulled it out of their asses. And the reason that they did it is then they go and say that killing Khan will prevent Armageddon. That wasn't what Armageddon was even about. Shao Kahn, all he did was beat Blaze. If you take him away, someone else will beat Blaze.
You see, there you go. You mentioned this, and I just realized, after through intense research, I just realized how much easier it would have been to just include MK4 in MK9, and you would have had a story that could make perfect sense. Because here's the thing with Armageddon's story. To prevent Armageddon, you don't need to get rid of Shao Kahn. You need to get rid of Shinnok. Because to be fair, Armageddon only happened because Shinnok was going around telling people, oh, there's this big prize, at the, crater in the Southlands. And, there will be many warriors that will come and get it. So, technically, he's the one responsible for sending them to, all gathering up together and clash at this one single point.
Yeah, the whole thing is Shinnok basically wants Armageddon to happen, so he tells everybody about Blaze, so they'll be at the pyramid. But it's even simpler than that. I got your 3 words Raiden should have sent his past self right now. Blaze must die.
There is that. But to go back to Ishi's point for a split second, this is kind of where the whole I'll hang out with the bad guys until I find out what they're up to comes into play. Because once again, Raiden fucking failed at his job, clearly. He didn't know.
I mean,
he had absolutely no fucking idea what Shinnok was doing.
Okay, but once he gets to the pyramid and everybody's racing to the top because they want to beat up the fire guy, because if they beat up the fire guy, they'll get better powers. Like, everybody in the crater knew. So, Raiden had to know.
Yeah, but by that point, I guess he was having a hammer swung at his head.
I just think, like, if you want to prevent Armageddon, you send a message back to MK1 or 2, somewhere way before Deadly Alliance. As long as it's before Deadly Alliance, you're good. And you send the message, Blaze must die. And even if MK1 Raiden doesn't know who Blaze is, that message will give him a reason to find out. And as long as Blaze dies before Armageddon, then Armageddon can never happen.
Well,
the end.
I think the intro did say something about Armageddon happening because of all the combatants clashing at one place, and that intense combat is going to start,
But the reason they were all in one place clashing was because they heard about Blaze. The whole war never happens if Blaze doesn't exist.
Ah, okay.
It's a self-fulfilling prophecy. Delia had a vision of a bunch of people fighting in a crater, so her and Argus came up with a solution to settle the fight at the crater. But the only reason the crater fight happened is because of their solution. It's a circle. If you take away Blaze, Armageddon never happens.
Okay, that makes sense.
But that wouldn't have allowed them to remake MK1 through 3, so obviously they didn't do that.
I'll be glad this alcohol is just this strong. I'm very warm and fuzzy right now.
Come here, share our disappointment.
I'm seeing through time. I'm okay right now. And like some Thunder Gods, I ain't gonna fuck with it. It's nice back here. I'm in the 60s.
So here's another weird thing. So Sonya is bumming around in Goro's lair to free Jax, and all of a sudden Raiden shows up. And after he arrives, he has a vision of Liu Kang beating Shang. And he thinks that's a good reason to stop Sonya from fighting Shang, because Liu has to be the one who fights Shang in the vision. Why did Raiden come down there in the first place, though?
Hey, I heard some fighting's going on. What's going... Oh, my God. Oh, vision. Oh, okay.
He must win, not she.
Yes. It's,
Maybe he was Jax?
No, because Jax isn't even in the tournament.
Well, yeah, there's that. But, I mean, let's just say for the sake of MK9's
they let him out of jail, he doesn't...
Story, did he refer to Jax?
I mean, Raiden never even considers the possibility that it might be Jax. Because there's a scene during the second tournament where he's looking around for the he who must win, and Johnny's like, what are we, chopped liver? And so Raiden's like, you have a point, you come with me. But Jax, you and Sonya can leave. and because they do that, Jax gets his arms blown off, and him and Sonya go home.
Fuck this.
Chopped liver.
And so Liu wins the tournament, and then Raiden's like, oh, my amulet is still cracking. I guess Liu wasn't the guy.
Maybe it's Kung Lao. Nope.
Yeah. Well, he spends the whole second tournament trying to figure out who the guy is. They're just roaming around Outworld looking for somebody who's maybe supposed to beat Shao Kahn. And they find Smoke being attacked by the Cyber Ninjas. And Raiden stops the Cyber Ninjas, preventing Smoke from becoming Cyber Smoke. Presumably because maybe he's the he who must win. But then like 5 minutes later, they watch Sub-Zero being attacked, and they're like, nah, he's not the he. Let him go. He can be a robot. It doesn't matter.
Hey, to be fair, Raiden knows who the cool guy really is. I'm not going to dispute that shit.
Oh, Raiden's a Smoke fan and he's playing favorites?
Hell yeah.
I see.
That shit sounds familiar to me.
I have an alternative answer. Maybe he's just a fucking coward.
Maybe.
Because Raiden's excuse for not saving Sub-Zero...
There are too many of them! It's too late! No, they're standing right there. There are 3 of us. We can get this. No!
Just zap them like you did with...
They're made of mostly circuitry. You could fuck them up with a fucking flick of your wrist.
We've already seen that he can. He took out like 6 cyborgs with one blast of lightning already when he saved
But
Smoke.
no, we had to reverse the characters' identities for shock value.
And the other thing is, it's not just that Sub-Zero could have been the He and Raiden would have been fucking up huge. It's also that the robots interrupted a tournament match. Sub-Zero is an Earthrealm fighter, and he was winning that match. So, I mean, that's Raiden's job to make sure nobody fucking cheats Earthrealm out of its, like, wins in the tournament.
No, Razor. Plot holes for convenient storytelling's sake. That is the MK9 order.
Whenever you bring this up, people are all like, well, Shao Kahn would have stopped him. And I'm like, but that's his job. He has the authority to tell Shao Kahn to sit down and shut up until the tournament's over. Like, you know when Liu Kang wins and that gold light pours down from the sky? That gold light is coming from the Elder Gods. It means they're watching the tournament. I don't get why they wrote that scene and thought it was okay.
It was Boone's idea. Let's keep that in mind.
Yeah, but the characters' cyber identities for shock value.
If I could suggest perhaps an alternative, what if they followed the original story, which said that Sub-Zero and Smoke weren't attacked during the tournament, they were attacked after the tournament when they went home. And then Raiden wouldn't have been there, and it wouldn't have had anything to do with the tournament, and maybe just because of something that Raiden had changed earlier, Sub-Zero gets grabbed and Smoke gets away.
Yeah, that's the problem, because they're so restricted to making the cutscenes happen during the, like, arenas.
Yeah, like, they would have had to make Lin Kuei headquarters in order to do that scene. So they couldn't do that.
There was just this weird desire to amalgamate as many characters as they possibly could during that MK1 portion of things. Cyrax, Sector, Nightwolf.
Yeah, they were, like, there for no fucking reason.
I can't even object to Nightwolf that much, but Jesus, like, they really kind of
warriors.
They really shoehorned in everyone earlier than they needed to be because reasons.
Yeah.
So they can invent a Flesh Pit stage, but they can't invent a Lin Kuei Temple stage.
I know, right?
But by God, the game really needs the armory. Why?
Don't fuck with that armory, man. People want to see the armory back for a while. Actually, it had come back in Armageddon.
Yeah.
Anyway.
It was alright in Armageddon. I always thought the MK2 version was like the most boring stage in the game.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, I never liked the armory.
I thought it was okay.
Meh.
You guys might kill me for
saying...
dislike. You guys might kill me for saying which MK2 stage I'd cut out. Oh god, do I dare say it?
Shoot for it.
You already set it up, now you have to.
Combat Tomb.
I mean, they already did.
You know,
I'm just saying that there was no story purpose behind it. Like
it's a tomb,
the armory,
it's a tomb where it's always combat time. It's always combat time in the combat tomb.
That does have an inherent value to it.
You know, honestly, if it hadn't been like since Shaolin Monks the last time that we've actually seen the fucking thing, I'd actually kind of agree with you. But I just miss it so much at this point. That's the only real reason.
Yeah, it's like, for story purposes, the Combat Tomb is the only stage I could really go without. Because at least with the armory, it makes sense to the lore. Like, Shao Kahn has this private foundry of his, where his soldiers made, like, smith weapons and armor. But for the Combat Tomb, it just seemed random.
I mean, the thing is that most of the scenes that take place in the armory have nothing to do with weapons. There's only one time where they use it right, and it's where Baraka's telling another Tarkatan to not fucking point a shotgun at his face. Like, which reminds me, my favorite thing is Kano and Shang testing rockets in the living forest. And then and Smoke shows up, and Kano's like, don't worry, I'll get rid of this guy. And he puts down the rocket launcher and has a fist fight.
I wonder how many trees died that day.
When I first saw that scene, I was just imagining Wilhelm screams, like, in the background as he shot each rocket. The trees do Wilhelm screams.
For the record, if I had to cut out a single MK2 stage, I'd probably make it the Wasteland.
Oh, there's story purpose.
The Wasteland is too important.
Not because I don't like it, and there's plenty of story purpose behind it, but because I actually don't think it was fully realized up until Shaolin Monks.
Yeah.
You'd show me, like, Shaolin Monks' wastelands and, like, the Blood River and shit, my jaw would have dropped and said, my estimation for the game would have increased 1,000-fold. But, just sort of saying. Anyway.
I don't know. I feel like if you're going to introduce people to what daily life is like in Outworld, the purple sky, ruined castle, desolate bodies on pikes, that stage is the only one that really sells that idea.
I just feel like if you're going to do Kitana's backstory and, like, her telling Lu, like, what happened to her home realm, I think that Wasteland is the way to go.
I mean, that's important too, but I feel like, so for me, like, the thing is, people forget now, and, like, it's become this big joke ever since MKX, haha, the skies aren't really purple, and there's, like, cities, and people live in Outworld, and it looks just like the Middle East. No, man, like, Outworld's story, back in the old timeline, was that, like, when Shao Kahn conquers a world, he sucks that shit dry of souls. Like, he wipes out almost all life on every fucking planet he conquers. So, most of Outworld is the wasteland.
You're getting to one of the reasons I despise MK9 story for so many reasons, So many. And that was the way I completely and thoroughly and utterly did away with what you just said Shao Kahn did.
Yeah.
Like, there is absolutely no comparison to the MK3 opening scene crawl of Shao Kahn walking through the portal, basically clenching his fist and killing 6 billion people in the stroke of a blink of an eye. Like, just a river of souls flying. Like, I've always envisioned that, like him standing on a rooftop after his castle comes down and river of fucking souls through the air. None of this walking through a tiny portal in the middle of NYC and opening fire and shit. Just, the scale is not to be compared.
Yeah, it's like, in MK9, the invasion didn't even start yet. That's what they're implying. But that's stupid, because in MK3, the invasion began.
We're just seeing, like, before Khan gets to Earth in MK9. But in MK3, it was like later that night. It was like, so Khan has arrived, and he's stripped all life off the face of the Earth. Like, there's only, like, 16 humans left. It's just Raiden's fighters. The entire population of the world is fucking dead. And that's not, like, an isolated incident. He didn't do that just because, fuck Earth. He does that because it's standard procedure every time he conquers a realm. And, I mean, that aspect is gone now, and that's a shame. But that's why the Wasteland is important to me, because it shows that, like, that's what all of Outworld is supposed to look like outside the doors of any building.
Yep.
But anyway, on to the next stupid thing Raiden does.
Oh,
the next of many.
Yeah, so immediately after not saving Sub-Zero, he's like, Kitana's fighting with her dad. I bet I can get her to turn. And I love that Johnny goes, sure, let's go ruin somebody else's life. And nobody fucking reacts because he's right. What can you say?
Johnny broke the fourth wall.
He's like, he hit it right on the nose. But yeah, so Raiden walks up to Kitana and he's like, yo, I know secrets about you, and I'm not gonna tell you. I'm just gonna say they're in the flesh pits. Go see them for yourself. And then he doesn't come with her.
That's Raiden.
Good luck.
So mysterious.
This is how Raiden makes friends.
Like, you can tell in the story, they really try to make him seem so cryptic and mysterious, but it doesn't come off as cryptic, as mysterious as it does stupid.
Yeah, he just comes off like a dumbass. Like, he's either stupid or deliberately an asshole. Because then, like, so Kitana does what he says to do, and she gets thrown in the dungeon for it, and when Liu Kang's all like, yo, we should rescue her, he's like, we don't have time, and Lu's like, she's in there because of you, man, you told her, and he's like, well, we don't have time, and he's like, fuck you, Lu is right. Fucking Raiden, man.
I love how in that scene, like, as soon as Liu Kang and Kung Lao walk off, like, Raiden has, like, there's, like, a brief, like, a few seconds cut to Raiden's face, and he's just, like, looking solemnly, like, off into the distance, yeah, like, as if, oh, shit, maybe I did fuck up.
I don't know, I can never tell if, when he's staring, he's, like, thinking about what he did wrong, or if he's just kind of staring into the distance with no thoughts in his head, or if he's actually, like, frowning like, I wish they hadn't walked away, like, I'm right, we don't have time for this.
I'm pretty sure it's dull surprise.
Dull surprise.
I don't get it. What am I doing wrong?
Why doesn't everybody just follow my orders? Everything's going fine, except for all those things that didn't go fine.
I have so much estimation and respect for your capability to remember the details of this fucking story mode, because I try not to.
You see, I rely on my
haven't
hate
watched it.
to remember. I rely on my hate
It
to
is
remember.
burned into my brain. I can't forget.
I've
See,
seen
this-
it. I've played through it once and watched YouTube clips about a year afterwards, and I haven't gone back since.
The scenes I remember the most are the ones I hate the most, and we'll get to them.
Well, so here's the next thing. So they go to free Katana, and so I love that Jade's entire chapter is meaningless filler, because her whole thing is trying to free Katana and she fails at it, and then she goes asks Raiden to do it for her, and that's her chapter. Like, that's the plot of her chapter. You could have cut that from the game. But anyway, so Liu Kang and Kung Lao Liu Kang just walks up to where she's chained up in the arena, which is right in front of Shao Kahn's face, and starts unchaining her, and he just glances over and is like, meh, does nothing.
Where is he going? Oh well.
And meanwhile, Kung Lao is like, we're having a tournament here, right? Can I maybe fight? And Raiden's like, maybe you're the he, like, last resort, like, I wish I didn't have to turn to you, but there's nobody else. Like, Kung Lao is the bottom of the barrel to this guy. He's like, oh, God, not him.
Somebody six Tiger Goro on him.
Yeah.
I will eat your
It's
heart.
funny that he thinks, like, he's shitting on Kung Lao. We're all shitting on Kung Lao in this moment, because Kung Lao does something that he couldn't do in the old timeline, even when he was older and a better trained fighter, and that's beat the Deadly Alliance at the same time.
Fighting Shang Tsung,
I
I
have
wouldn't mind,
so
but the
many
whole
issues
Deadly
with
Alliance, fuck no.
I have so many issues with the presence of that fight. It was literally only present to make a Deadly Alliance reference.
It was just an excuse to say a dumb line, yeah.
It makes absolutely no sense. And there is, to be fair, like, story, I guess, sort of, tournament reasons to have endurance matches like that with one guy after another. Sure, why not? It was a thing in MK1. I can buy it. I don't try to analyze ever who actually partook in any endurance matches. I don't care that much. But there's no fucking reason, like, Quan Chi should have been fighting for, like, out.
Yeah. I don't have a problem with there having been 2-on-1 matches in MK9, even though they were the shittiest matches to fight other than the Shao Kahn boss fights because the AI was fucked, and it's just not fair. But what really bothers me is that it was Quan Chi. Like, why is he even at that tournament? Like, I understand why he was at MK1, because he was basically, like, Scorpion's handler.
You have to understand that MK9 Quan Chi is and does and is the reason for all things.
It's a problem. Like, he's just there to be there. Like, he wasn't invited. He's not from either realm that's involved in the tournament.
Do you know why they didn't save Sub-Zero? It was Quan Chi's idea. Do you know why he must win?
It's like,
It's Quan Chi's idea.
It was me,
like-
Raiden. It was me all along.
It was always Quan
Quan
Chi.
Chi hangs out next to Shao Kahn's throne the way Jay and Silent Bob hang out outside the fucking quick stop.
Fuck,
motherfuck, noise. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, noise.
Like, I really want Shang to be like, I told you fucking stoners to get out of here. Like, he's the Randall. Like, Shang is trying to chase off Quan and Scorpion.
Snooch to the nooch, Shang man.
Stop selling dope outside the store.
$15, little man. Put that shit in my hand. If that money doesn't show, then you owe me.
But, man, so Kung Lao wins a bunch of fights, and then he starts celebrating like he's saved the world, even though Kentaro was just some guy. Like, nobody ever said that was the champion round. And then, like, so all of a sudden, like, magically Shao Kahn is standing behind him and stabs his neck. Like, nobody saw him walk up. Raiden was looking right at Kung Lao.
He wanted it to happen.
how did nobody see Shao Kahn walk up behind him?
I guess Raiden figured he must win.
Fucking. You see,
I'm not even fucking kidding you. I think that's the reason Raiden let it happen. Because if he was the chosen one, he would know that Khan was about to do this thing. And when his neck got snapped, he went, guess not.
Okay, but if you're gonna trust fate, then why are you trying to change the future anyway?
Don't look for reasons in this, man. Don't look for logic.
Also, Raiden is mad when it happens. Like, he's surprised and upset.
So much hate.
How hard could it be to just have Shao Kahn slowly, ominously approach Kung Lao and, like, raise an arm up in the air as if he's about to congratulate him? That's a way he could get everyone's guard down, and all of a sudden, the hammer conjures up in his hand and he swings it. Whoop! There you go, Kung Lao's dead. Like, how hard is it to just do that instead of a stupid fucking Skyrim sneak, like, cinematic kill? It's fucking stupid.
I don't know, man, but there's more. So Raiden gets super mad and starts charging up his lightning, but Liu Kang gets there first because he was right over there unchaining Kitana, and Khan didn't care. But so Liu beats Khan, puts his entire arm through the guy's heart, and Shao Kahn, to the naked eye, appears to fall down dead. Raiden then looks at his amulet and sees that it cracks again. And Raiden knows that what that means is that Shao Kahn is in the future going to win a thing. But he's just seen Shao Kahn die. Why, in that very moment, would he not go, oh no, he's not dead, I'ma finish it, and fry that fucking corpse?
Yeah.
I have no answers for you. I have no logical counter-arguments, because
there's no fucking reason he shouldn't have.
Oh, man. But no, they just stand there, and then they go home.
Anyone think we should find out where they took Sub-Zero? Nah.
Yeah.
If he's the chosen one, he'll win.
Kitana, are you gonna get out of that slave outfit? No? Okay.
Yeah, that's my favorite thing. So somebody forced Kitana to change her clothes between two scenes, and Kitana wears those clothes for the rest of the game. Like, I don't get that.
Hey, Jade's got one too.
Yeah, but Jade probably put that on purpose. I mean, Jade's a little slutty.
Don't worry.
I'm just saying.
Don't worry, Kitana. I'll even it out.
It's that slave Leia outfit she's got is not very different from her Deception primary. That's she got that out of her own wardrobe.
I
wouldn't call that slutty. I don't know. Melina's slutty.
Showing
a little bit of skin.
Tease. I think there's a difference.
Jade's
more of a tease.
Jade's con.
Okay, so that bothers me.
Yeah, because it doesn't fit with her story.
We can talk about that some other time. Like, I have serious problems with Jade's personality. Like, her whole character doesn't make sense.
She's very bipolar.
There will be...
It's always been pretty inconsistent.
There will one day be a Jade episode, and we can talk about it then.
Fair enough.
Yeah, her personality doesn't make any fucking sense.
Because that's kind of a whole rant. But, I mean, it's much shorter than the Raiden rant is so far.
Are we gonna have to split this into 3 parts?
Oh, God.
No, we're finishing tonight. There's not much left. Because Raiden isn't on screen a whole lot during the MK3 chapters. And when he is, it's basically just standing at a table, and people tell him stuff, and he goes, I don't understand why it's not working. Meh. Like, he's slowly losing his mind. You can see him start cracking. Which, honestly, considering all the shit that's happened so far, is actually in character.
He's a god. He should not go crazy.
I mean, yeah, there's that. Like, there's no reason that a guy who's 1 billion years old should ever, like...
Billions,
be this
trillions.
Stressed out.
See, this is kind of where I figure that a Dark Raiden aspect should come into play.
Yeah, I mean... But it doesn't. All we have is him start freaking out, and people are talking to him, and he's not paying attention anymore. And he's just fucking losing his shit. He's bad at strategy, and just basically admitting it now. And it gets to the point where he's like, I'm out of ideas. I've got to go beg the Elder Gods. I've got to ask Mommy and Daddy to bail me out. And, Lou, you won't shut up. You come with me.
And then they're all like, oh, the MK tournament? Nah, that doesn't prevent shit. Lol.
Yeah, that's my favorite fucking thing. Like, so, in the Mortal Kombat lore, for basically all of history that this franchise had existed, the whole premise is that Shao Kahn isn't allowed to step through a portal Like, if he walks into a portal, there'll be, like, a force field on it. Like, he just can't do it. Because the Elder Gods said no until he wins 10 tournaments. What we find out in MK9 is this retcon that actually the Elder Gods never did that. Sindel did that by casting a spell.
Then what's the point of the tournament?
Yeah, why does it exist? If the Elder Gods were not enforcing the rules, then what the fuck? Who cares anymore?
It is soon after this point, after we've witnessed the bastardization of the reason for the MK tournament in the first place, we've witnessed Smoke and Sub-Zero swap cyber roles, because shock value. Witnessed Quan Chi essentially take responsibility for Shang Tsung's masterminding the entire MK3 plot. It is at this point that we have Raiden in a position of supplication to Quan Chi. Knock need.
Well, no, there's.
Is there something else I'm forgetting first?
There's something
Is there?
just before that I want to mention.
Sure, why not?
So, when Raiden and Liu Kang go to talk to the Elder Gods, Liu Kang doesn't talk. Why did he bring him?
Because they needed to have another reason just to kill everyone off while their champion is not there.
See, because if Liu Kang had been in the church, then nobody would have died, because he's the man.
I like to think, maybe giving
So
him the benefit of a bit of a doubt here, that they had some sort of long-term plan for Kang being the bad guy going forward to MK11. And maybe he's kind of going on this whole the gods must be crazy kind of bit that we'll see in the future. Do I actually believe that they'll go back and revisit this and use it as fuel? No. That's the only goddamn reason I could see for him being there as a witness.
Here's the thing. My problem is not that they took Liu Kang to that scene so that he wouldn't be around, so that, like, it's an obvious plot device to get him out of the way because he could have beaten Sindel.
Yep.
That's not my problem. My problem is that the way to fix it so it makes sense is so easy. All he has to do is say at least one line of dialogue to the Elder Gods. Just one!
Liu Kang, come with me. I need company. I'm all alone. No one likes
damn
me.
It. And that actually would have made the story stronger, because if... And we see this in MKX, that Liu Kang's personality, or Revenant Liu's personality now, is basically, the Elder Gods have failed us, fuck them, I want to destroy anything that, like... I want to hurt them, because they suck at their jobs. Which, it would have made that characterization stronger if he had actually argued with them when he was in the position to do so. But no, he says nothing in that scene. And that, I fucking hate. Moving on to, yes, the next thing we see is...
Oh god, we're getting there.
So they come back from heaven. And they find everybody fucking dead.
Oh, here it comes.
And Raiden's next solution is like, well, if the Elder Gods wouldn't help, maybe Shinnok will? What? Okay, so Raiden knows that Quan Chi has been working for Khan the entire game. He knows this because they have force-fed Quan Chi into every fucking scene they can.
Okay.
And yet he still thinks maybe he'll help me?
Okay, you skipped that one part where he just watches Katana die slowly despite having healing powers.
That goes back to the healing thing. He forgets he can heal anybody. So
do you know how hard it is
Kang
watching your favorite male character, watching your favorite female character just die slowly, just watching without a single expression, just looking down upon her, life slowly slipping away, and he just like, oh, shit.
Yeah, like, completely forgets that he could fix this. And also, I mean, Johnny and Sonya are injured. He doesn't stop to help them. He's just like, fuck it, I'm gonna go to hell. And I'm gonna be like, beg the devil to save me.
Talk about some serious desperation.
Because Quan Chi and Shinnok are so known for being altruistic and helping people out of jams and, like, doing the right thing. So he goes down there, and he's like, yo, Quan, if you'll join my side, I'll give you everybody's souls.
You phrased it wrong, Razor. It wasn't yo,
I did.
Quan. It was, please, Mr. Almighty Powerful Sorcerer, who I have every confidence and faith in, I am begging you, in a position of supplication, weak and terrified, I will give you the souls that I don't own for your help.
Including my own.
Like, yeah, if he had just said, I'll give you my soul, I would not be that upset. I'd still be upset, and I'll get to why, but I wouldn't be as upset.
This is the
because
point.
He's
following after everything that MK9 perpetuated, that I understood that these people had absolutely no fucking concept of the characters that they were writing. It is the reason that that scene with Quan Chi is emblematic of everything wrong with MK9's story. It causes me physical discomfort to watch that scene. Because at no fucking point, regardless of everything else, do you portray Raiden in a position of weakness and fear, begging upon the mercies of Quan Chi. That doesn't happen.
It's not just that.
It's not just that, but it's a very...
It's that he's speaking on behalf of people who he has no right to do so, and he's saying, when they die, they'll be okay with going to hell, as long as Earth is safe.
Even that aside, to display Raiden in that kind of position of weakness betrays a complete unfamiliarity with the character. He would literally go apeshit and start destroying realms before he would be anywhere near that position on his hands and knees to someone like Quan Chi.
Whatever happened to this mighty god of thunder and protector of Earth, who was 7 feet tall, 230 pounds, could literally fucking blow someone up with a simple uppercut? Reduced to such a shallow, weak, bitchy, pathetic
This is not the
thing.
guy the Immortals were singing about. This was a bad caricature. This was a plot necessity given flesh. Fuck MK9's story. Fuck the people who wrote it. I don't care if they're the same people who redeemed themselves with MKX, or if they are, I'm happy that they did, but holy shit. Let that be a lesson to you. Handle your shit. Do your research. Because this work was a product of people who did not do their fucking homework. Just talking about it makes me angry. Ugh. I'm not drunk enough to handle this.
I have a fucking headache.
It's not just a question of how powerful Raiden is, or how much he would rather lose than take the side of an evil like Quan Chi, or something like that. It's also like, it really offends me, the idea that this guy who is supposed to be a hero, who's supposed to be renowned for his compassion towards mortals, that was always Raiden's deal. The other gods were not the protectors of Earth, and he was, because he cared about the mortals more. They were his friends, he got to know them, that's his whole thing. That Raiden, the Raiden who in MKX says Liu Kang and Kung Lao were like sons to me, would never sell the souls of his fighters to the devil.
That's another problem. They don't build that relationship, because Raiden literally has no relationship with any of his friends in MK9.
That's true. Like that line in MKX rings hollow because it's not there in 9.
Like in the original timeline, we saw how close he was to his friends. In the MK Annihilation, as shitty as that film was, we actually saw how much Raiden cared for them. He was like, he loved them like children, like they were, like he cared about them. He wanted to protect them. He would sacrifice his own immortality for them. And then in MK9, you see the complete opposite of that.
It's not just that Raiden wouldn't do it, it's that no one can do that and call themselves a hero. It's not a right thing to do to sell people's souls to the fucking devil. Even trying to save the Earth, that's not excusable. And here's the other thing. Like I said, if he hadn't offered his fighters' souls, if he had only offered his own, that's still not quite okay. Because Raiden's worst enemies are Quan Chi and Shinnok. He knows that as soon as Shao Kahn is done invading, one day those guys are going to try their hand at Earth. So why would you hand them all of Earth's best fighters? So many levels it doesn't make sense. It is like the worst scene I can even imagine. Like, I'd rather have something goofy and I'd rather have the fucking Journey Begins than this scene. because it's like bad, but it doesn't make me angry.
It's utter horse shit.
I am actually right now at the moment looking at a screen from Kasumi Ninja where the Scottish guy is like farting out a fireball from under his kilt, and then the Native American standing across from him, named Pakawa. Scottish guy is named Angus.
Of course he is.
This entire scene is less offensive to me than that one scene.
I'm looking at a picture of MK2 Raiden right now. The better Raiden.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. the thing is, all of the weight of how much we hate Raiden making this argument is supposed to be nullified by the fact that Quan Chi does not accept the deal, because he already somehow has their souls. They say, oh, Shao Kahn sold them to me first. How did Shao Kahn get them? He wasn't in the room when those guys died. And also, like, the Netherrealm is a place where only evil beings can exist, and Nightwolf is supposed to be pure and without sin. Like, that was a plot point, deception.
You know, I don't mind the Revenant idea as much, but, obviously, you're right. For some characters, there should be exceptions. Like, Nightwolf should never be a Revenant. Like...
Here's what bothers me. So, like, it's not that different from something they did in MK4 already, where basically anybody who had died in the first 3 games who was a bad guy went to hell and became a Revenant in MK4. To do it with the good guys, I understand why you'd want to do that, because it does up the stakes and make the next game seem like a bigger deal.
Yeah.
But you have to explain how they can be down there.
Well, no one's purely innocent. Like, I can imagine Sony being a sinner.
Apparently Nightwolf was in Deception. He literally could not travel to the Netherrealm unless he first performed a ritual that would absorb sins from other people.
Well, yeah, like I said, Nightwolf's an exception. Like, he's a shaman. He should not,
The thing, like, Kung Lao is a monk. Liu Kang is a monk. Like, those guys are pacifists. They've never killed anybody. They live lives of religious worship and peace.
Kung Lao didn't become a pacifist until the end of MK3, right?
True, like Kung Lao at this point in the story is kind of an angry jerk, but he's never actually killed anybody or done anything bad. He just talks about it sometimes. Where is the line of what is and isn't a sin, I guess? Because, you could make the excuse, well, Nightwolf died by suicide. Maybe suicide's a mortal sin like it is in Christianity. But they need to fucking, set the fucking rules. Tell me that's what it is.
Yeah, they could have explained it, yeah.
And here's the other thing. Like I said, when they did it in MK4, Quan Chi was collecting the bad guys who died. So where are the bad guys who died in 9? Where is Motaro?
He's stuck in engine hell.
Apparently he's not good enough.
I have no need of your soldiers, but you and Mr. Cage will serve me well. Says that as he fucking revived a riot cop.
Yeah. He doesn't need soldiers, but Stryker he needs.
Stryker's got a powerful soul, man. Powerful from all them bullets.
All right. I keep hearing that, but I ain't seen it.
Honestly, bringing up MK9's ending has just made me 20 levels of angry and frustrated, and I actually need to go have a cigarette right now.
Go ahead. We will
finish this.
There's only really one event left to discuss.
I have discussed my main gripe. Well, my keystone gripe with MK9's and everything that came after the Raiden begging Quan Chi scene. And yes, I know the scene you're about to discuss, and I know what it constitutes. And I've mentioned it before, but everything after that is just parody. Everything after that is a summation of all the shit that has just occurred. It's detritus, it's debris, it's bad comedy.
I think the scene we're about to discuss, for me, because the worst is already behind us, it is a moment of bad comedy, like you said, quoting the fucking Transformers movie, but it is a moment that makes me laugh, because it's not so dumb that it makes me angry, it's so dumb that it makes me laugh.
Do you or do you not picture Yakety Sax playing while it happens? Because I do.
A little bit.
Thank you.
A little bit.
I'll be right back.
So Raiden returns to Earthrealm, having figured out that Shao Kahn is the he who must win. Because when he does, having won without a tournament, the Elder Gods will finally then come down and spank him. He returns to Earthrealm to fight Shao Kahn, and he finds Liu Kang waiting for Kahn. And he's like, no, Liu, you can't fight him, because if you fight him, he won't die. Like, the Elder Gods will kill him if we let him win. And Liu thinks that sounds retarded, because honestly, it kind of does a little bit.
That's insane!
And so Liu Kang and Raiden fight each other, and at the end of this fight, neither one is actually defeated. Liu Kang tries to run at Shao Kahn, and Raiden stops him, shoots lightning at the ground at his feet. So Liu turns on Raiden, and raises a flaming fist. And Raiden's response is, no, get away! And shoots a little bit of lightning. And that little bit of lightning lights Liu Kang's body on fire and kills him. And Raiden reacts like it was an accident. Like he didn't mean to hurt him that bad. And so the important point is not that the fire is not what killed Liu Kang. The electricity is, because his body is covered in, like, vein-shaped scars, which is exactly what a person looks like when they've been struck by lightning in real life.
Yeah.
And Raiden, again, is billions of years old. And the entire time he's existed, he's been made out of electricity. There should be no one in the universe who's more an expert on electricity than Raiden is.
How hard could it be to just fucking teleport to the other side?
He should know exactly how much it takes to hurt, to maim, to kill, to just knock out, to just stun. He should know everything about what lightning can do to the human body.
That situation could have been handled in so many different ways. He's charging at me with a flaming charged fist. I think I'll zap him because we all know lightning and fire are a perfect combination.
Yeah. Like, how could you ever, if you were a god of thunder, how could you ever accidentally kill someone with lightning?
Yeah.
It just doesn't work.
I ranted about this before, and like you guys say, the Quan Chi selling souls part is the worst. I mean, I agree, it is terrible, but for me, the Liu Kang killing scene was what drove me over the fucking edge. I was so immensely pissed off at that. God of Thunder! How hard is it, NetherRealm? God of Thunder!
It's amazing. It's amazing. I've never been published. I'm still in college to get my writing degree, and I already know that's fucking dumb.
I haven't even started college
Who
yet.
writes this stuff? Oh my god.
For fuck's sake. I'm legit trying not to hold back in my tears because I'm trying not to fucking laugh and cry. This scene is single-handedly the one moment in MK9 where I was driven over the fucking edge.
You think maybe that's what happened to Reptile's people? Because I always imagine it being, like, epic, like him and Shinnok are wrestling in the sky, and sometimes the lightning misses and strikes the earth, and people are running, screaming in terror, and it's like Clash of the Titans shit. But now I'm picturing that Raiden was just, like, aiming at Shinnok, and Shinnok was like, whoop, 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 and held up a raptor. And Raiden's like, oh god, no, I'm sorry.
Like Shinnok,
and he just keeps doing it, like, over and over.
Shinnok literally picks up a sword and charges with it as like a shield.
Yeah, like a human shield, and Raiden keeps being like, oops, I didn't mean to. Oh god, ooh, that's gonna leave a mark.
Oh my god.
Like genocide, one lizard at a time. By accident.
Quote, accident.
Yeah.
Are we pretty much over MK9? Because I'm literally
I think, yes, that is, I mean, everything after that is okay. The Elder Gods, like, possess Raiden, and he beats Khan, and Khan is shot up into the sky as a beam of light and explodes, I guess. Is he dead? I'd like to assume so.
Taken to the Elder Gods. Elder Gods do some shit.
Whatever they did, it needs to be something that would prevent him from winning Armageddon, doesn't it?
Well, it doesn't, because Shao Kahn didn't win Armageddon, and stopping him does not prevent Armageddon. Oh. NetherRealm, common sense.
I'm just saying, like, the medallion stopped cracking, it healed up, which means whatever Dark Raiden wanted to happen in the future happens. The Shao Kahn is prevented from beating Blaze. So,
yeah,
if he's dead or just, like, he can't just be in prison, because then he could get out and beat Blaze later, couldn't he?
Yeah. I mean,
he better be
just
dead.
For the sake of this shitty story, I think it's safe to say he's out of the picture.
I hope so.
Yeah.
I mean, I like Shao Kahn, but you can only use the same boss so many times before it's like, get a new trick.
Yeah, it's kind of funny because now the way they set up the story is that from now on, you can never have Shao Kahn again, because if he comes back, then Armageddon's going to happen.
Yeah, you have to reboot to ever use Shao Kahn again, and that's actually kind of unfortunate. Like, they've probably written themselves into a corner there, and what they'll do is they'll ignore that they wrote themselves into a corner and bring Shao Kahn back and just be all like, meh, it doesn't, like, Armageddon's already been prevented.
Yeah, see, that's something NetherRealm would fucking do.
Yeah, they don't pay attention. But that is the end of MK9. Like, at least it ends on, like, a note of him being all, like... I mean, he's not a bad person if you just go by, like, his dialogue, where he's, like... At least he's mourning the dead, and he's, like, sad that they all died.
The one moment he ever does.
Like if he was Dark Raiden, he wouldn't give a shit. He'd just be like, fuck the mortals, they're the problem anyway.
Yeah.
But, yeah, it's finally over. We have covered the God of Blunder's greatest hit.
Okay. Taking off my hat, taking a deep breath. You can do this, Ishii. You can do this. Okay.
On the bright side, Raiden is pretty much back to the way he should be in Mortal Kombat X.
Thank God. Finally.
Yeah, like, I don't want to say they redeemed all the shit they did in 9, because they never can. But it's almost like the way he's written in X forgets that 9 existed. Like, it wants the player to pretend that this is the Raiden from the old timeline, at least in character.
Yeah.
If not in action.
We're back to the good stuff.
Yes.
Yeah, we're on X now.
You're right on time. So, we didn't cover Raiden's MK 2011 costume and gameplay.
Well, I mean, his costume is basically a cross between MK2 and MK4 with a stupid medallion on it.
It's boring as shit. It's like my least favorite Raiden costume. It's fucking bland.
I actually... See, I like it because it's the costume for a reboot. Like, all of my favorite 2011 costumes are the ones that actually look like the old timeline. Like Johnny Cage, Raiden, Sub-Zero's is pretty passable, Liu Kang's primary. The ones that I don't like are the ones that look like they belong in a new game, like Scorpion, or Kitana's primary. Well, both of Kitana's, really. Or it bothers me that there's a disparity.
Yeah, I mean...
Because it feels like a mixed message. Like, you can't be a remake and new at the same time, or else you're doing it wrong, is my opinion. So, like, I'm okay with Raiden's outfit. I like the Dark Raiden one better, because I like Dark Raiden better at this point.
Either or for me.
It's ornate. It's not the best costume he's ever had, far from. There's a lot of detail going on, which I appreciate. There's a display of wind, thunderclouds that's on his loincloth tabi area thing over the mountaintop, which is really, really nice. The detail is really, really nice and appreciable once you get down to it. It just overall, the design doesn't really pop. It doesn't really jump out at you. And the rope, yeah.
Oh, wait. I thought you were talking about his 2011
We were talking about 9, but yeah.
Yeah, we were talking about 2011.
Oh, sorry. All right, let me go.
I mean, just before we get into MKX, because we should also cover his fatalities, because it's kind of the only game where he has, like, unique ones that aren't boring.
Fair enough.
I mean, I do want to say, like, one thing I like about his Dark Raiden alternate costume is I like Dark Raiden as a character idea, but I never really liked his Deception outfit. Because the color scheme is slightly off to me. Like, I don't like that it's black and maroon instead of, like, black and dark blue. And it's sort of a little bit of dark blue on the armor. I don't know, the colors just seem off to me somehow in Deception. I feel like MK9 did it better.
Huh? I don't see dark blue, that's weird.
It's sort of, I don't know how to describe the color of his armor is like a shiny black teal.
Huh. I'm looking at it right now.
In Deception, I mean.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but in MK9, it's more all black and gold.
Yeah, definitely.
I don't know. I mean, like, the pattern on his armor, where it's sort of, instead of squares, it's like this radius of lines fanning out, is a little weird.
Mm-hmm.
but it doesn't really, like, bother me or anything. Like, I don't know, just something about the color scheme I like better in 9 than in Deception.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good costume. My only problem with the alternate is the fact that the hood is just simple head wrappings. It's not like the gold rimmings that you see in Deception. And I think the gold
I
rimmings,
mean, that's true.
Yeah, the gold rimmings look better.
That's true. I'm honestly, like, not a huge fan of, like, the holes they put in his hat now, like the vents for him to see out of or whatever.
Yeah.
Now, a problem I have with more of the modern designs is just how little care they place into keeping his upper face visible, or like just not. It shouldn't be quite so visible that you can just see glowing eyes out of a normal face, you know? I do miss the old days when everything above his nose was kind of obscured.
Mm-hmm. The shadow over his eyes isn't really prominent anymore. That bothers
me. In fact,
me.
it's definitely been lost.
I think maybe they don't do it anymore is because it looked kind of awkward. Because, I mean, the shadowing over his eyes, granted, it will look natural if he's, like, in his normal battle stance. But say if there's, like, an animation where he's looking out, it'd be kind of awkward looking at the shadow over his eyes while, you know, like the light from the sun is hitting his face.
I definitely get it. Like, during storm mode, it'd be really tricky to frame him constantly so that, like, you never really do quite see it. It's just kind of a shame. It was just something that was just so visually appealing about the character is now gone.
I just think when you put out, like, a render, you can put the shadow wherever you fucking want it, so why not?
Yeah. Renders, yeah, I agree.
But anyway, so yeah, his fatalities. So I really like the one where he turns them into, like, a stumpy torso, and then he slams them head first on the ground, and they wobble like rubber back and forth. That's actually one of my favorites in MK9.
Yeah, I like it. It's good. His second one is just weird. Like, I like it, but it's kind of weird.
Yeah.
It's like he teleports.
Yeah, I can agree with that.
Yeah, like he teleports behind the opponent.
It's he takes their organs out, electrifies them, puts them back in, and then, like, he dances his hands up and down like he's casting a spell.
It's a very bizarre fatality. Like, you can't even really tell what he's taking out.
Yeah.
Spleen or kidney, and then his brain, or what? I don't know.
It's a brain and, like, something from down there. That's
but, like, it's not really large enough to be the brain. Like, it's just a chunk of meat.
Ew.
They just kind of reached in and grabbed part of a brain and a kidney and swapped them.
I want to see the whole brain like Johnny Cage did in Deadly Alliance. But yeah, so now we can move on to X.
Yay!
I do really like his primary costume with, like, the mountains and the storm clouds on his tunic.
Yes.
Like, the display on the tunic of sky over the mountains it's really cool. I think I just have a problem with, like, the rope belt. The whole design doesn't really pop, and the rope belt kind of throws it off a little bit. It's just very odd contrast to everything else going around it. And yeah, like you said, I don't particularly care for the fins that give him visibility through the hat, although it does make a lot of sense. Not the best costume he's ever had, but not the worst.
Like, okay, so Ishii and I both own a cone hat. I don't have any problem seeing out from under the damn thing. Like, the only time you need vents in that is if you're wearing one that's as big as your entire head, which his is not.
Yeah. His MKX primary, I really like it. I really like the details on his tunic, the mountains, as you guys stated. It's a really nice touch with the wind patterns over, like, sort of creating this image that, that's the skies and everything. But I mean, for the first time,
it's very much it's like a Chinese painting, like it's very like a mural he's wearing, and I think that's a cool idea.
Yeah, it's beautiful, and I remember first time seeing that, I was kind of worried because I was like, oh, Fujin, poor Fujin.
Oh, I forgot to chime in on his MK9 alt.
Okay. Well.
Too Beatlesque. Prefer the MK Deception version much better. It's a problem that MK9 had a lot of with Scorpions. Too much insectoid imagery going on there.
I could kind of see that.
Yeah.
Not bad, but again, could do better. I
also, going back to the MKX outfit, I like his primary. The tunic has like a popped collar.
which I was saying the design doesn't pop, but hell, the collar certainly does.
Yeah, I especially love those gauntlets, like the beautiful patterns on it, and the shin guards too.
I think
Like,
the whole thing could actually be really improved, and like the rope belt could actually work a lot more for it if he actually was wearing a beggar's cloak over the whole fucking thing. Seriously, just have him throw the thing off to like reveal the elegance beneath and the splendor.
Actually, I don't really have any problem with this costume. It's except for the hood. I feel like the hood just seems really weird. Like it looks like a Buzz Lightyear.
It's the
Kinda
belt
thing
to
going
me.
on.
The belt is just weird. The rope belt.
The rope belt doesn't bother me so much, but it's not like necessary to the outfit. Like I feel like the rope belt would make more sense if he was dressed more like a beggar, yeah. But so like his first alternate, his quote unquote tournament outfit, which is ironic because his primary looks more like what he wore in MK9, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Like, so they're basically retconning the idea, like, they're trying to tell us, actually, during MK9, he was dressed the way he was in MK1. Which, so first of all, like I said, neither of these outfits has that fucking time medallion on it, which doesn't make sense. But at the same time, I'm like, I understand that, like I said, it feels like they're trying to get people to forget that MK9 happened. With a lot of like elements of this game, even though it's a direct sequel.
They realized that.
Can you blame them?
Yeah, right.
I think they took a lot of your criticisms to heart, Razor. You should be proud.
I certainly hope so, because man,
They browsed the fuck out of that forum.
just man. But yeah, like it is his MK1 outfit again, and in that sense, like I appreciate the reference, the bringing it back, because that as a fan, it is fan service to do something like that. But at the same time, like I said last episode, I always found his MK1 outfit boring.
Yeah, I would have considered it fan service if it was his MK2 outfit.
Like, yeah, the other thing is, like, okay, like, the white robes, just plain white, without any decoration on them. If you're gonna do that, again, make him look like a beggar. Make it look like, like a frayed shawl and all kinds of stuff, like in the movie. Like, this just looks like pajamas.
I don't mind the MKX Raiden alt. I kind of like it a great deal.
For
no other reason than like it's sheer callback, and I don't know.
I mean, like I said, I get that.
I appreciate a little bit of blatant nostalgia when the time is right, and for this, I enjoyed it.
I kind of like how there's like a yellow brace around his head. That's just like keeping the hats together.
Yeah, like that's a new thing they did in this game. They gave the hat like a holder so it stays on his head. Like, I'm not sure if I like that or don't like it, because like, just in terms of, like, this being a fantasy universe, I'm perfectly okay with saying that a god's hat can stay on his head because he wants it to. Like, I don't need the fucking realism holder. It's the same, like, I've never been the guy who gets mad when girls fight in high heels. Like, it's a fantasy. Also, Sindel killed 2 people with her heels, so they're obviously combat effective.
Scarlet's X-ray.
Yeah, right?
True.
I'm perfectly willing to accept that chicks from Edenia have the balance necessary to fight in fucking heels. Like, I don't... And so by the same token, I don't really need him to have a ring that keeps his hat on his head.
Don't hate it. Not gonna overthink it. If they want to put a ring on it, cool.
If you like it, then you should have put a ring on it.
If you like it, then you should have put a ring on it. If you like it, then you should have put a ring on it. Don't be mad what you see that here on it. If you like it, then you should have put a ring on it.
So...
Do we
anyway.
want to discuss MKX Dark Raiden?
Well,
Yes,
Yes,
I really like
he
the
had a
the
third
dark,
outfit.
long nails.
Because holy shit, man!
he has long nails.
Yeah,
This-
They're, like, painted black, like he's gone completely goth.
I love
Dude,
it.
You need to
I'm
stop
not
using
complaining.
that word. You don't know what it means.
Tell me you don't wear eyeliner.
I wear eyeliner, but I don't wear nail polish that much anymore. It's not the full.
That much anymore.
It's true, dude. I'm in my mid-30s. I'm a retiring goth.
All right.
Just saying. The accoutrements aren't the end-all and be-all of it.
And I'm just saying you had to add the qualifier that much anymore.
Well, I mean,
So don't get
it's
mad
not like
at me for
it's
saying
not like it's
that
not a
his
thing that we don't
fingernails
do, as we do. But I'm just saying, putting on nail polish don't make you full goth. A lot of people do that. So anyway,
Well,
Dark Raiden.
I mean, being pale and wearing this much black.
It's a start.
Black and red.
It's a start. So yeah, I fucking love this
10%.
outfit. I love this outfit.
Same.
It's all right. Like I said before, I actually kind of prefer Dark Raiden to be like black and dark blue as opposed to black and red. But this outfit has some strength to
You
it.
know, this outfit is okay, but the only thing missing from this outfit is a cape. And that's even stupider because they had the cape in the concept art. Why didn't they put it in the fucking game?
Yeah, it could do with a cape.
I really like the shoulder pads, the extended kind of reindeer horn on the top of the hat.
Yeah. Well, he's always had that like the big samurai like crest on his hat in Dark Raiden form.
It's so pronounced here. It's so very visible. It
is larger.
It emphasizes that, I guess that kind of warrior side of him, and the jaggedness, the triangular way the shoulder pads are accentuated. The whole thing just kind of breathes savagery, and I kind of love it for that. He looks angry. He looks...
Yeah, like the armor around his waist reminds me a lot of like something Baraka would wear. It's all very like sharp and pointy.
Yeah.
The other thing I like is that like this outfit, because it like the story behind Dark Raiden in this timeline is that he absorbed energy from Shinnok and it like corrupted him. Is that the similarities between this outfit and what Shinnok wears? Like, he's wearing the amulet. He's got this, like, belt buckle that's almost identical to what Shinnok has on.
Hilarious.
Yeah.
I like those kind of touches where you can sort of see where things come from.
Shinnok
nice.
He does not paint his nails, which is fun.
Quan Chi
There's
does.
like one guy apart from Quan Chi in the whole cast did it. But anyhow, actually, you know what? We say that the shadow under his eyes is, like, around his eyes is gone, but I'm looking at a lot of these renders, at least like the ones that are... in the gallery mode, and they went out of their way, and he's got that shadow there, like up to around his nose.
Yeah.
It is more prominent in MKX.
So good on them for that.
Mm-hmm. Like, one prime example is his MKX Dark Raiden render, where he just has like his arms folded. You could clearly see the shadow. It's very
I'm thinking about it now and remembering a lot of like cut scenes where like he's wandering around the Sky Temple talking to Bo Raicho and stuff like that, and like the shadow is right over his eyes and it looks very appropriate. And one thing I liked in this game was and this doesn't just apply to Raiden but to like pretty much every character who has glowing eyes, like the way they rendered their eyeballs, where like the glow comes from inside and it's almost like a pupil glowing in a white eye as opposed to like just a solid ball of light. Like there's a lot more detail to it and it looks more like realistic, almost like like if there was a person in the real world whose eyes glow, I would imagine that's what it would look like.
Yeah. And it's a nice change. I mean, I don't mind it. It's all right, I guess. I guess I'm just much used to the whole, the white eyes and then it has like the blue light surrounding it. I guess I'm just used to that. But yeah, but the MKX version is also nice.
Yeah, and I mean, like in terms, like now I'm looking at this MKX concept art, and it's the unfortunate thing is always like the ones they didn't use. There's always something good in there, and like a lot of these outfits have the hair out, which we mentioned last episode, and it's a shame that like none of his outfits have like no hood and the white hair just like hanging loose.
Let his hair out, be free. Like you can tell from the concept art that they did sort of consider it, but nah.
Do we need to discuss Tron Raiden, or do we have to?
I mean, you can if you want.
Why was this a thing anyone felt was necessary? All right, that's all I got to say.
I don't. So here's what's weird to me about Tron Raiden.
Bold.
It's the idea that one day in the future Raiden will decide he needs to change his wardrobe, because he obviously hasn't changed the way he dressed in the past thousands of years. So why does the future mean, you know what, it's time to get Tron armor?
That's how I perceive it as. It's not about if he changed, it's about what he's wearing. Like, it looks very futuristic. I think that's what they were going for.
Yeah, and like, the thing is, like, I guess with the roster of MKX at launch, like, some designer was sitting somewhere and he's like, I want to draw somebody in Tron armor. Who do we have who that would fit? Well, I guess, Raiden's like an electric guy. He has reasons to have glowing lines on his body, and that's all they could come up with. Because, if it were me, and I were going, I want somebody on this roster to look like a Tron character, I would have put Cyrax on the fucking roster.
How do we feel about the little beard he's got going on there?
I like it.
It's okay. It's a little goofy.
Could we see this in a more traditional outfit? I think maybe.
I would like to see a fuller goatee as opposed to just a tuft on his chin. Like, if it took up his whole chin, it seems a little hipsterish to me, I think, the shape of it.
It's an odd beard, to be sure.
It's a little bit of an odd.
You see,
I like the idea of a beard. I've said before, I would be cool with some kind of goatee or soul patch on Raiden. I just think that particular one looks goofy.
you see, if you're ever going to add a beard onto Raiden, I feel like a bigger version, like a rendition of his MK1 outfit, would be a good way to add it.
Well, I mean, we could talk about how in both of the actors who played Raiden in Legacy had stubble, because everybody in that fucking cast had stubble, and you couldn't tell them apart. I seriously, in production photos, I could not tell Johnny Cage and Raiden from Stryker. They all looked the same.
Well, Cage had a stupid
Stubble
jacket
for
going
miniseries.
on.
Yeah, like sometimes Cage would be wearing sunglasses. That's when except I think maybe Stryker had sunglasses in one scene, so fuck.
Alright, so into the meat and bones of MKX. Raiden.
Yeah.
'Cause I do have to get to bed eventually, folks.
All right,
His
Displacer.
fatalities.
Let's just talk about
We could-
Displacer real
The
quick.
thing is, there's so much gameplay in MKX. Do we want to go all into fucking the variations, or do we just
Well,
like?
I'm not really competitive.
I feel like-
I feel like just giving a
Displacer.
brief sort of description. Yeah.
Displacer is my guy.
We could just paint with a broad brush.
Displacer is my guy because Raiden doesn't work for me without a teleport.
Exactly. The teleports, as I said.
I totally get that.
Yeah, as I said, the teleports are my favorite move of the character, and making a variation based around that, it was a dream come true for me. I don't even bother with any of the other variations, solely because they fucking took the teleport out of it. So, yeah.
About it.
I mean,
man. That's about it.
I really like the combos in I think it's Thunder God,
Yeah.
where he's shooting these giant cones of these webbing out lightning bolts.
Yeah.
And there's a weird he has the teleport as a move in Displacer, but I think he has teleporting mid combos in Thunder
Yeah,
God.
he does.
Yeah, yeah.
It's not
And,
the same, though.
Mm-hmm.
It's not, but I feel like I really like the way he does it in the combos, so I wish that was part of Displacer.
I guess they felt it as a compromise.
I just can't get that one part out of his trailer in my head where he does that combo string and he teleports back and forth between them. I fucking loved it.
Yeah, that shit is cool. It's sort of a thing all throughout MKX, but I think Raiden is one of the characters who benefited the most from them, taking the idea of what the guy can do and finally realizing it in his
Hell
moves.
yeah.
Yes.
Whereas, in previous games, it was just you had your normals and then you had the specials, and now the normals themselves are special. Is I guess the best way to think of it. There's so much of them utilizing their powers in creative ways within the combos in X that we never really saw before, and I think Raiden, more than any other character on the roster, really shows that.
It's something a lot of other fighting games have been doing for years that I'm glad MK series finally caught up with. It was about time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
But that's really all I have to say about his his special moves, his gameplay. So if we want to talk about our favorite fatalities, brutalities.
Okay.
Yep. Favorite fatality is easily the jump in the pole stick. That was great.
Yeah. It's sort of a reimagining of that MK4 but it's way better.
Yeah. I love how the pole sticks out of their ass. You can see.
Yeah.
Brutality. I guess. I mean, Jesus. It was last week when we watched them all, and I just watched all the brutalities, and the one where he just sort of sparks out of them from the inside.
Yeah,
The
he
blood
sort of-
just flies everywhere. It's visually very impressive. It's wonderful.
See, that's what I'm talking about the idea that his true form is pure electricity, and he, like, chooses to take a mortal body, he could totally, like, turn into lightning, go inside you, and then explode you from inside.
Yeah.
And that's what he does, and it looks awesome.
Yeah, exactly. I think I agree that is my favorite brutality of his. It's also very Shang Tsung-y, but yeah, it's...
Yeah, I mean, Shang has done that. Shang has done a couple variations of that. He's done one where he turned into mist, and you breathe him in, and then he explodes you from inside. And then he's done one where he possesses you and gets you to rip your head off, which was actually a remake of one that Zombie Lou did, which didn't make sense for Zombie Lou to have, because Ghost Lou should be the one who has it, but Ghost Lou wasn't playable.
Yeah.
Etc., etc. But I think the way Raiden does it is unique enough that it stands on its own, and I like it for
it. Yeah. And lore-wise, it makes sense with the character. And as for favorite fatality, I'm gonna say the first one. I mean, it is a little too dark for him, but I kind of liked the idea of, like, yeah, I'm a god, get on your knees. It's really cool.
I've said before, I think we've talked about this in previous episodes, that some of the others think it's goofy with the eyeballs popping out, or they think it's boring because it's just another decapitation, head explosion.
Mm-hmm.
But I really like the eyeballs popping out specifically because when you do it to a character with glowing eyes, you can see that their eye nerves also glow, and I think that's, like, it's cartoony, but it's also a really cool idea.
Yeah.
Don't hate it, just like the other one more.
Yeah.
Fair, yeah.
Alright, so that finally brings us to story mode.
Which he didn't really do much in.
Yeah, that's the interesting thing. Like, they deliberately write him out of the story for a huge chunk of time. Like, they come up with this excuse about how when the amulet was stolen from the Sky Temple by Kano, he left a trap that sent Raiden jumping around realm to realm or some shit.
How does that work?
During which time, his sanity was presumably restored to his brain.
Nah, it was Kid Thunder, remember?
Oh, that's right. MK9 Raiden is wandering through the desert going, no, what?
I'm not crazy. No! Echo! I'm not crazy. I'm not crazy. Don't go crazy. Mama, feed me.
I guess it's a mercy that there's...
That's a shame for Kid Thunder. That's a shame for Kid Thunder because it means Lou's blaming him for somebody else's mistakes.
Oh God.
But I guess going, that wasn't me, it was just somebody who looks exactly like me, would be kind of a dick move.
That kind of thing happens in MK every now and then, folks.
Yeah.
It works with Sub-Zero.
Works with Katana.
I mean, it doesn't work with Katana, though. They don't look the same.
Not anymore.
They used to.
Even then, blue is not purple.
Girl can't change her wardrobe?
Not when they're deliberately color-coded.
But they don't know that. We know that.
Or even sluttier.
Look, by deception, everybody knows.
By deception, yeah.
Katana has never worn anything that's not blue.
By deception, there's no real excuse for it. I'll grant you that. I like to, though, envision the fact that Melina is probably running around in Katana's blue wardrobe behind the scenes. Anyway.
They bullied Kid Thunder in his own temple.
So, yeah, like, they wrote Raiden out of the story so they could have him, like, not show up until the end.
Well, that makes things simpler for us, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, he is in one scene before that with, like, fucking... Well, I guess two scenes, because there's him and Fujin fighting Quan Chi and Shinnok, which was a cool scene because it had Fujin in it. I really like, they went to the trouble of, when Cabal sticks Raiden in the back with his hook swords, the blood stains are there for the whole rest of the cutscene. Mm-hmm. That always kind of stuck with me. I think it's maybe not the greatest thing to say about Raiden, that the most memorable thing about him was something that happened to his outfit.
Or the fact that he gets bullied around for his lunch money.
Yeah.
Yeah. That is great. Smoke just fucking pushing him, like, do something, come on.
What are you gonna do, Thunder God, huh? What are you gonna do?
I want you to do it. Come at me, bro.
Let you know where there's smoke, there's fire. Huh?
You can save me from robots, but you can't save me from being a zombie? Well, good are you?
Is there really that much to discuss for MKX Raiden then at all?
No, I mean, he's there, and he acts like regular Raiden, which is such a huge step up from 9 that it's sad.
I completely
So-
agree.
I'll take this opportunity to say once again, thank you NRS for doing it right this time.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's a shame because there are these really good lines that show Raiden's fucking compassion and humanity and that he did fucking care about guys like Liu Kang and Kung Lao with lines like, they were like sons to me. But you hear that and you're like, no, they weren't. That's not what happened in 9.
I hear those lines and they're just...
And so it's like a good thing, but it's also a huge shame because it reminds me of the bad thing.
You know,
Gotta
Let's
learn to
just-
work past it. I'm trying. I'm
Yeah.
trying to forgive.
One day at a time, one drink at a time.
you know, one detail I do like about MKX is that how characters like Raiden, who are canonically taller, are visually more taller.
Yeah,
That's
Yep.
true. Like the MKX finally has different character models for everybody's bodies.
Katana is so short, it's adorable.
Do we want to at least say something about his conversion to Dark Raiden at the very end of things?
I mean, it's not that different from how he turns in Deception Armageddon, except like he doesn't have to die this time. So how do we feel about the fact that they just invented this plot device, the Jinsei, out of fucking nowhere?
I like it. I feel like it should have been canon in the... Like, I feel like it should have been created sooner, and I think it's a really nice addition, because it'd be really interesting to see if other realms have Jinseis of their own.
Yeah, that's actually like my thought is like I do wish it had been introduced sooner because it does kind of fit into the lore really well. Like for example, when we get like in Deadly Alliance established that whenever Shao Kahn merges a realm with Outworld, the merger magic is held together by a fucking orb that he hides somewhere, and like Natara finds the orb of the vampire realm and smashes it to set the vampire realm free. And it's like there's one of these for every realm that he's conquered. And it's like what if they like rewrote it so that what those orbs actually are is they contain the Jinsei of that world.
Yeah,
I think that would make a lot more sense.
completely agree.
So like I like the idea of the Jinsei. I like we talked about last episode the idea that maybe the reason Raiden gets weak when he's in other realms is because he has to go back to the Jinsei to recharge all the time.
Yeah.
I like the idea that I like Shinnok trying to like corrupt it and that it turned red and then he had to like absorb the corruption out of it to restore it and that turned him into Dark Raiden.
It's a really nice,
And
unique twist to it, because I feel, you know, blowing yourself up, your energy is reforming, and having, you know, the essences of your arch nemesis or nemesises sort of rubbing off on your soul and that corrupting. I mean, I feel like it's a good way to go, but I feel like the absorbing corrupted essence and turning you evil flows more naturally to me.
The thing I like is after he becomes Dark Raiden, like that stinger in the credits, the Marvel movie scene, and some of the arcade endings about him starting a tournament between Earth and Outworld because he wants to like conquer Outworld now or whatever. Those go back to the way Dark Raiden was written in Deception, where it was more ambiguously anti-hero or an extremist with good intentions, where you can sort of see how he's not a bad guy, he's just doing bad things for like a good cause. Like he's not doing anything evil or villainous, he's just being kind of mean to people.
Yeah. Yeah, it's...
As opposed to in Armageddon where he's straight out hanging out with the bad guys.
Yeah. Like... Yeah, I really like the direction they're taking for Dark Raiden, and I hope they don't do the whole, like this whole stupid villain route, where I'm going to hang out with the bad guys and everything. Like, I've always mentioned that I like Dark Raiden as sort of this hero, but he's taking very extreme measures. Like, he's doing the right thing. He's not in the wrong, but he's just doing it in ways that you know, a good guy normally wouldn't do. Like, Raiden is just getting his hands dirty.
Yeah, but I think, like, I also said before, like, I like the idea of Dark Raiden as an end boss, so the thing is, like, acting like a villain and being the end boss don't have to come hand in hand.
True.
For example, every X-Men story that ends in them fighting Magneto. Like, you can have a nuanced villain, like a guy who you can sort of agree with, but he still has to be defeated at the end, because whatever he wants is bad for people.
Yeah.
Like, So that's sort of what I want to see. I want to see Raiden acting like an anti-hero, but he still like ends up at some point gradually becoming the guy who has to be defeated at the end.
Yeah, I mean, I guess you can only do so much until...
Because the only alternatives are like either you keep him as this neutral character, and how long can that last? Or you like suck the corruption out of him and restore him to good Raiden. And if you do that, it's like, what was the point in the first place?
Yeah.
So, like, I feel like the only appropriate ending is for, like, Dark Raiden's actions to escalate gradually, get worse and worse, until the point where he's the end boss. And when I say worse and worse, I don't mean fucking, like, Armageddon.
Kind of a shame that MKX goes out...
Sending zombies after innocent people and joining the bad guy team.
Yeah.
That's the wrong direction.
Yeah, the direction I take is, like, have Fujin and his sort of, like, team of fighters, you know, sort of clash with Dark Raiden and his sort of team of fighters. And after the battle's done, Fujin just comes in, you know, like, no, I cannot kill you. Your fate will be decided by the Elder Gods. And sort of he takes Raiden to the Elder Gods, and they sort of decide what Dark Raiden's fate is. That way you can have the whole end boss sort of fight, but at the same time, like, you can still have Raiden around, but he's, like, not have, you know, the energy sucked out of him. Like, it amounts to something. Like, that fight culminates into this end result.
Well, like, there's a way you could do it. Like, maybe if Fujin is taking him to the Elder Gods to be punished, maybe Raiden's punishment is that he's stripped of his title and or his powers, and so, like, he shows up in another game and he's basically stuck in mortal form and he has to, like, repent, sort of.
Yeah.
I think, like, a penance would be one way you could go with him that would be interesting.
Yes, that's...
Another way I think you could go with him is, like, if you look at Dark Raiden's end goal is to protect Earth from anything that could threaten it. And sort of the most extreme direction you can take that is to have him basically what they're saying he wants to do, where he's like declaring mortal combat against Kotal Khan, where it's like, I'm going to defeat and destroy any realm that might be a threat or has been a threat in the past, even though they're not a threat now. So it's like, that could end in, like, cataclysms that would make him look like, even though he's doing it for the right reasons, like he's done a horrible thing and killed a lot of people, something like that, and then he has to be stopped. Or you could take it in a direction where, like, Raiden has a lot of reason to have grievance against the Elder Gods, so he could in fact turn on them and be justified doing it.
Yeah, makes perfect sense.
This is why I like Dark Raiden better than regular Raiden, besides the fact that regular Raiden is boring and doesn't act like Christopher Lambert.
I do want to actually say, though, that the scene between Raiden and Kung Jin in MKX, it actually kind of almost makes me feel that Dark Raiden is kind of a disappointing way to finally to turn things, like, now that the character's kind of back on track, so to speak, because it's touching.
It is kind of sad whenever you see, like, a guy who was really, like, compassionate and good sort of go that direction, and then you have, like, that bittersweet ending where, like, maybe they die or whatever, and it's like...
And you guys made me sad now.
It's like the Dark Phoenix saga, I guess.
We care about what's in your heart, Kung Jin. That was beautiful.
You know, it's really good to see in MKX how much Raiden's personality is realized to a great extent in MKX, and I love that. And you see it in so many different scenes.
MKX in general, because there are so many, like, character versus character intros, and the writing is so much better than it's been to date. And this is, I mean, on one hand, a lot of that stuff was written by Brian Chard, who's now left NRS, so I have, like, concerns about whether future games will be as good as X was, or if we're fucked now that he's gone. On the other hand, that guy did write some of 9, so maybe it'll get better.
You know, he changed Melina's backstory.
Yeah.
Was he the guy that did that?
Yeah, he's the guy who wrote the new fucking...
And he's gone now.
But I mean...
Yes.
Okay, good. That's all I gotta say.
That's not the worst scene, though.
Yeah,
It's up there, man. It's definitely up there.
I understand why they did that to Melina. I get what they were going for.
That.
I don't agree with it.
They were going for shitty titty fan service.
No, they wanted
That's what they were going for. All of that shit was done to put Melina in a rag outfit. Okay?
I mean, that you're
Don't
not
tell me
entirely
otherwise.
wrong. But I also think it was done because there is an argument people sometimes make that seeing something in real time is stronger than being told that it happened in flashback. I don't think that's an excuse to do what they did. Like I said, I don't agree with the change. I'm just saying I can kind of see why you would.
We could have seen Katana discover to her horror that the person she's thought was her sister for a couple thousand years now was actually not. In real time.
But even that would be a violation of canon. She was supposed to know way before the tournament. And be like...
Oh, well, whatever.
She was supposed to be like keeping it a secret, waiting for the right time to turn on them.
We could have seen the denouement.
Because the important thing to me about the old Kitana and Melina backstory, the fact that Kitana knew beforehand, means that she's the one who comes to the good guys and offers them help, as opposed to the way it happens in 9, where Raiden comes to her and tells her stuff. Like, she's the one who has agency. She's the one who provides people with information. I think it's better that way.
Yeah.
But like I said, I can see why they did it the other way, because they felt it would be stronger if it happened in real time.
I wish I could believe that that's actually why they did it. I don't. I'm never gonna.
I don't know. I mean,
Not at all.
the other thing is...
That shit was done for fan service. Melina had been more and more sexualized ever since Shaolin monks.
Like, they did honestly believe that unlocking that costume would be, like, the most celebrated unlockable in the game.
A really good reward.
And it's not even sexy, because the character models in 9 are so out of proportion and ugly looking.
Those shoulders,
Yeah,
man.
the shoulders are
Those
the
freaking
fucking
shoulders.
worst.
This one time, I took an image of Melina opening her eyes in the flesh pit, and I captioned it, "Come to bed."
You've mentioned this.
Did. That was to ensure no one who saw that would ever consider her sexy ever again.
I mean, it didn't work. It really didn't work.
God, I'm fucking glad Brian Chard's gone.
Well, he's not responsible for the internet's attitude towards weird monster chicks.
Well, he's responsible for this.
He was just capitalizing on something that already existed. You're the one who said there's a Tumblr for everything and you hate them all.
God, I really do.
Look, I know a lot of people who are really into Melina. I don't understand them, but I know them.
They would not be really into Melina if they met anyone remotely like Melina in real life. These people have fantasies, and that's all they are.
Okay, you say that.
They don't know any
You
better.
say that, but as someone who has, like, stuck his dick in crazy and lived to regret it, I'd do it again.
They're sticking your dick in crazy, and they're sticking your dick in Melina. Those are not remotely the same thing.
I mean, I might...
There's crazy, and then there's Melina.
I'd make her wear, like, one of those Hannibal Lecter masks so she can't bite me, but I'd do it.
You're failing here. You wouldn't make her do anything. You're wearing the shit, man. That's the kind of crazy Melina is. You're wearing what Melina wants you to wear.
You know what? It's a challenge. It's a test of wills.
You're wearing a Tanya mask over your head and a Reiko mask over your ass. That's the way this night's going.
Now you've reminded me of the fucking comic, because now I'm picturing that scene where she's, like, licking him, and he's looking away, like, just grimacing. Which reminds me of all the scenes in the MKX comic where Raiden does some dumb shit, and Fujin's there to be all like, I don't think you should do that, that's dumb.
Yeah. I think I mentioned it in the last episode, but I really like that dynamic between them. I like Raiden being the risky one and Fujin being the I don't think that's a good idea.
I just like that somebody who was writing a sequel to MK9 looked at that and said, you know what this character would do next? Get addicted to cutting with magic knives.
Raiden, no! Raiden, yes.
They wouldn't be wrong.
Exactly. They wouldn't. Like, Kittleson got it.
So subtle.
I also like Scorpion spending the whole comic going, fuck you, Raiden. Every time I do something you ask me to do, it goes bad.
He was the voice of the fan base.
He was.
Beware of the one who walks in shadows. Who is that by?
What the fuck? Did that ever get picked back up? They never mentioned, like, Havoc walks in shadows? Is that what it... When does Havoc walk in shadows? We saw his face in full daylight.
Since when was Havoc a demon?
He doesn't have shadow powers. That's so fucking stupid.
Poor
Shadow is
Kittleson.
chaotic. Woo!
Poor Kittleson. I feel sorry for the guy. Anyway.
Yeah.
It's,
Right.
Well,
is that it?
I think there's one
Anything else
last
to bring
thing
up?
I would like to mention. It's, so, in my mind, the most memorable things about Mortal Kombat Defenders of the Realm, the cartoon, that aren't bad things, as opposed to, like, Dragon Jets and Nightwolf doing the fusion dance with an actual wolf all the time. The good things that are most memorable are, the voice acting,
Ah, yes.
and the fact that they continued the movie characterizations. And in specific, that applies to Raiden because while he was played by the Highlander in the movie, he was played by the Kurgan in the cartoon. I always love that. And on the other hand, the weird thing is, in that fucking cartoon, there's this strange relationship between Raiden and Jax, where they're like,
Oh,
catty, flamboyant queens to each other all the time. Like, they're always insulting each other and calling each other girlfriend. What is that
Girlfriend.
about?
You gotta give two people some catchphrases to play off of. That's literally the thought that went into this.
no, I thought you were going to go for the whole weird Shiva and Raiden relationship.
There was a little bit of that too, but it just, in every fucking episode, they're like two gay guys just being weird back and forth to each other, and I don't get where they got that idea from.
Would you not pay to see a sitcom about Jax and Raiden living together with that kind of relationship? Because I would,
I mean, I like it. It's funny. I just wondered, did they write them gay on purpose, or did they just think that was normal slang in the 90s?
As stupid as it is, I really enjoy at how like Raiden interacts like this with his mortals. Like, it's really interesting.
Yeah.
It's like this billions, trillions of years old god of thunder. You don't expect him to act this way in front of mortals, but then again, he does.
I mean, it's like I said before. When I think of how like a guy who's that old should act, I think of someone who's been around so long that they shouldn't give a fuck anymore. Like, as a combination between I've seen it all cynicism and just either it's right before a tournament and he's like, well, we're probably gonna lose because we lost the last 9. I'm not gonna get that invested. Or if you want to go the optimist route of him like having faith and be like, it's gonna be fine. It's gonna be fine. Who cares? It's gonna be fine. Either way, he should be really fucking casual because he's been around so long that why would he give a fuck about putting up pretenses anymore? He should be over it.
I mean, like post-tournament, right?
Yeah.
So it'd be really interesting to see that personality sort of pop up after Liu Kang wins and everything.
But I mean, again, like even before Liu Kang wins, it's like going back to the last episodes of Conquest where he's like, well, we're fucked. I'm gonna go to the bar.
Ah, beautiful. So yeah, love Raiden. I love the mentor archetype. I love design. Great. Love him.
I love many versions of Raiden. I often want to love Raiden. Sometimes they won't let me.
Raiden is, in story mode, tantamount to Raiden in gameplay. I feel dirty, but I love him.
We all do.
I think that puts the period on the end of the sentence.
Indeed.
Hey, do you know where Brian Chard started writing?
It was
NetherRealm?
it was Deception, wasn't it?
Yep.
That sounds about right.
Just throwing that out there.
I mean, the bios and it. Excuse me. My body is rejecting the lies I was about to tell. That's fine. That's fine. We'll leave it on that note.
Yeah.
I think we've said all we have to say about the God of Thunder.
Excellent.
He's the combat king, the best of the best. Just look at Raiden, he cannot press no champ. So is a
Good night, everybody.
The shock with power, electricity. It disappears, no, you cannot see him move. Cause Raiden flies, no Superman with eternal life.
May the elder gods watch over you.
Except for you, Brian Chard. Go to hell.